Good evening, everyone. My name is Aidan Squires, and I'm joined here by Jaden Rondinella for tonight's race, which is the Octane Online Racing Thermaltake Oor series here, Season 7. I can't believe we're already 7 seasons into LMU here at OOR. I remember the first season that was ran, and I'm sure Jaden does with me. Tonight we're at Portimao, which is a very up and down racetrack in the hills of Portugal. And tonight we've got the classes, GT3s and hypercars. So a big pace differential between these two classes as we see Austin McNeil just trundling around uh, before he starts his first flying laps, as those hypers are pretty deadly on the cold tyres. But Luke, how are you going tonight?
Oh, very good. I'm very excited for another season. Obviously, we've come a long way from where we've started with LMU, so it's a good way to go, and about to start on our laps. This is obviously a format, a single person format where you only have the one car on the track visible for each other, so there will be no issues of having to wait for traffic and stuff. So all that matters is about pace and how well they're going to go. We've got some really fast drivers, a lot of returning ones, and some new drivers tonight, especially over in those GT3s.
Yeah, definitely. And you can also see the new LMU overlay we've got on the left-hand side of your screen with also the driver stats down the bottom. So Austin McNeil here in the lovely sounding Cadillac as he comes down this very tricky braking zone down the hill into the hairpin of Torre Vip, I believe is the name of that corner, turn number 5. But yeah, you should be able to see these nice little graphics here, which will show us the sector times and all sorts of cool things that Ben on the cameras should be able to show now. So yeah, a bit of a step up from the past as Austin again just taking this outlap pretty chill, I think. Just still waiting for a bit of tyre temp. We saw him weaving down the straight as yeah, these hypers do take their sweet time to get up to temperature.
And I love watching those purple sectors being made right now. As you can see, it looks like Benefield down there in the Ferrari doing some purple sectors, and is that Talbot in the Ford doing purple sectors for that first lap. So we'll be able to easily be able to tell who's kind of on a good lap and who's kind of just sitting there with a decent time. This is again going to be an interesting race tonight. This track has it is difficult. The braking zones are a bit hard with going downhill and some of these sharp turns. It's a very up and down track. So, yeah, I'm expecting a couple of spins, especially under braking tonight.
Yeah, definitely a difficult track for the hypercar drivers, especially under brakes, as they do not have ABS, unlike the GT3s. Just watching some of them doing some practice, I was noticing they're only using like 40 to 50% braking in some of these braking zones just because it's so easy to pinch a tire. And if you do, you've obviously got quite a long race to deal with those flat spots. So the strategy for this race is probably going to be for the hypers and the GT3s a pit stop. You can stretch it out for the full 60 minutes, but it will require quite a lot of lift and coast. And obviously, if you get some flat spots on your tires, you're going to have to put up with that for quite a while here. So, yeah, these drivers are going to be taking it fairly cautious in the race, I think, try not to lock up. But obviously, the GT3s don't have that problem, as we see Daniel Benefield here now starting to push now. Got some heat in those tires, coming into the downhill braking zone of turn 5. Now comes back up the hill, first gear out of that corner, get the power down nice and smooth. We head into this right-hand kink of turn 7 and into the Samsung corner. That is a interesting name for a corner. I don't think I've ever seen any tech companies have corners before. As we plunge down the hill now through Craig Jones. I'm not sure who that guy is, but he must be important. To this difficult uphill blind corner, aptly called Portimao. I guess that sums up the whole track, right? It's blind uphill, changing elevation, very difficult to do. As yeah, Algarve Portimao is the name of this track, as Ben's just flicked up on the screen. And Benefield coming through the second last corner, or I guess this kind of long right-hander. It's kind of one corner in itself, but of Sagres. And into the flat, I assume in the hypercar, corner of turn 15 to complete the lap.
Interestingly enough, I've heard that corner is really only flat for the LMP3s and maybe the LMP2s, because I feel like the hypers have too much speed going through there. So I think they have to have a slight lift off, unless they're brave enough. But yeah, these cars looking very, very quick at the moment. Some already really, really good times there. Talbot setting a 144 over in the GT3s to top the charts for them at the moment. And you got... Who is that at the front there? That is, I know the name. That is Benefield. Daniel Benefield in the Ferrari this season with a 133. So definitely quick, going very, very fast around here, and a good gap between him and second place, who has 4/10 behind. So not that close at the moment. The Ford's leading it. So it seems like Ford seems to be the strong car, or at least the strong drivers are in those cars at the moment. And the rest of the field kind of down. I'm noticing a few missing names as well from tonight. I think maybe we've got some drivers who have not rocked up, who are usually top of the table. So, and Shady Samuel moving over into the hypercars this season, outside of the GT3s after coming second in the championship last season against Emerald Name. He is no driver to shy away from. He's a very, very fast driver. Another thing to consider as well is the curbs. The curbs now in LMU have become quite slippery, so it's almost always best to avoid them if you can. Maybe a little slight touch on entry and exit, but when you're braking, you do not want to be on them at all anymore.
Yeah, you'll notice just into these big heavy braking zones like turn 1 and the hairpin of turn 5 just then, you'll notice them staying off the curbs as much as they can. Now, some corners like turn 7 and 8, which Harry's just gone through, it's kind of impossible not to run them. But yeah, if you have the choice, yeah, definitely stay off the curbs, as Loopty has pointed out there. Oh, yep.
Really quickly, just a shout out to our host right here, Benjamin Hignett. Thank you for streaming tonight. The YouTube chat is currently set to members only. If we could get that fixed up, please, Mr. Hignett. Thank you very much.
Oh, good catch there.
So, yep, suffice it to say, we'll get that fixed very soon. The car's looking very, very good. I do enjoy a bit of the LMU battle. It's always very interesting to see. Lots of craziness happens, which is always fun. But like it, especially when the traffic catches, and Portimao is going to be seriously difficult, especially as we were saying earlier with all these blind corners. What I think more than half of them are blind when you're coming over into them, so very easy to have a collision. 1 minute 30 left of qualifying. Not much change in the charts just yet. We'll give you more of an update as it goes on.
Yeah, Talbot running the Cam Waters inspired Monster Energy Mustang. So obviously a Supercars fan in our mix here, taking the P1 so far. But he's going to have one more lap here, I believe, to get this done. His last lap was not an improvement, so it seems like he's got this fairly wrapped up with a 43.7, which is a very quick lap, I must say. And Daniel Benefield has pulled over, so he's not going to have any more attempts. As Shady Samuel now jumps into P2 by only 0.2 of a second off the back of Benefield here, who has stopped. So Shady, I think, is going to have one more lap potentially. So he'll be the one to watch. As we can see, his split has come up down the bottom. So he is... oh, that's a spin for Harry Lawrence, pushing very hard in the Alpine. He was in P3, setting a decent lap. His second sector was green. First sector wasn't quite there, though. We'll see if Shady Samuel can put in a better lap here. I can't see his current... I don't think he's crossed the first sector yet, so we won't be able to see, or his timing's just bugged. But yeah, Jacobs as well in the Ford is also up, purple first sector for him, as well as Ashley Johnson as well, setting a green sector too.
Yep. So everyone actually flying quite a lot. These Fords looking strong. Jacobs having that yellow middle sector now, so a bit down there. So we'll see how close he can get on this lap. Jeremy Talbot holding up the front with a 43.7 is no joke. That is quick. That is almost as fast as I can go in the LMP3s at the moment. I'm not the quickest, but that's, yeah, a very impressive time.
Another Supercars themed livery here as well. The Castrol Larry Perkins Ford Mustang. That's a wiggle from Jacobs on the exit of turn 14. Now, I'm maybe wondering if Shady Samuel invalidated the final corner of his final lap, and that's why his time hasn't actually come in properly. and it's just timing itself, even though he's not actually on a correct lap. So I think that might have been what's happened there. Shady has gone wide somewhere in the last 2 corners, and this game's very strict when it comes to going wide at those final corners. It'll invalidate you, and or your current lap and your next lap will also be invalidated. So quite harsh.
Yeah, Jacobs pulled into the pits there, so that is done for the GT3 field. I believe this is the last driver, Steve Lewis, for the hypercars. Sorry, so we'll see where he can put it. Currently in 10th position. Is he going to move up any positions here? It is a give or take situation where towards the, I don't even know which corner we're in now. Is this Samsung? No, that's not Samsung, is it? I don't know where we're at. I think we're going into Craig Jones now. This looks about right. I feel like I'm on the right spot of the track.
No.
And that's up into Portimao, yeah?
Yeah, yes, correct.
I'm so good. I figured it out. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh.
I was going to say we can listen to the Aston, but he's now gone. So we're going to head over into the pre-race session. Now the drivers will be clicking anything they need to on their setups, adjusting maybe their brake bias or traction control or anything for the start. Obviously, you don't tend to run your quali setups for a 1-hour race unless you're a bit crazy. So yeah, the top order, as we can see, is Benefield in P1 in the Ferrari, Shady Samuel in second in the Peugeot, Austin McNeil. Oh no, sorry, Harry. Sorry, that just gets confusing with Austin McNeil's name being Law, but yeah, Keys after that in P4. Yeah, Lawrence is in P3. Sorry, Keys in P4. Johnson in P5 in the Peugeot. McNeil in P6 and Vintner behind him in P7. Harry Murphy P8. Donnelly P9. Lewis in P10 in the Aston, the sole Aston, I believe. And then LMGT3 is obviously the 2 Fords of Talbot and Jones, followed up by Lele Raschuti, Ben Curtis, Rosser, Bell, Reinhardt, Ellett, and Smiles to round out the top 10. So decent amount of cars, I think. From what I know, it's around 30 to 32 cars we have tonight. So there will definitely be some traffic for these hypercars to navigate.
Yeah, and once again, a very good-looking night. That, just to make it sure that nobody's getting confused, that Johnston is not Patrick Johnston, the winner of the championship of last season for the hypercars. It is Ashley Johnston in that Peugeot as well. So I don't believe Patrick has turned up. He's currently in the chat saying first officially, and chat is now open. So hello everybody, hello YouTube, hello Twitch, welcome in. We are excited to get this race started. Now, Aiden, do you want to do the call or?
No, you can go. I did the start. It's going to be a short formation, so there won't be much time. So get ready to go.
Here we go. We're getting very ready to go. Got the fields split a little bit, so if the Hypers have an accident, the GT3 should possibly not die. We'll see as they come across. The start should be very shortly. It should be within the next couple of seconds. Just waiting. And it is... Oh my gosh, take forever. Oh, there we go. Lights out and away we go. And it looks like Benefield's had a great start. Shady Samuel getting caught up in the braking, and it looks like he's going to have... No send on the inside. Harry Lawrence is keeping that position third, and it looks like Benefield's taken it away. You got Lucas Keys. There's a lock-up already. Oh, and it looks like it sent no collision there. I don't know who that was. I believe that was Johnston just locking up a little bit. And Lucas Keys is not dead yet from that one. So that was Lucky Talbot holding up first in the GT3s, followed by Jacobs and Lele as well. So that hasn't changed much over in the GT3s. But there is an intense battle going on for that third. Is that third place right now? No, that's a bit further back. Oh, between Jared Ellis and I can't read that other name because I'm a bit blind.
I think that's Rosser. The McLaren.
Yeah. So that's Rosser over there in the McLaren fighting up Jared Allison, looking maybe for an overtake once again, but it's not going to work. And it looks like the field's going to start getting into that little straight line here. So this is a track that's going to be interesting to pass on. And I'm very interested to see how people are able to get a maneuver on. First lap, very clean, not much movement around the track. But, oh, Murphy actually moved up past Vintner as well over in the start there that I missed.
Yeah, this track does offer some decent opportunities for overtaking. Obviously, you have turn 1 if you get a good drive off the final corner, and then turn 3 again if you can try sneak up the inside, and then the big hairpin of turn 5, plus the blind uphill corner of Portimao if you're really brave. But here we are riding on board with a Mercedes, I believe this is. I think this is Ben Curtis in the Mercedes AMG GT3 here. Currently in P6. Done pretty well off the start. He's following Ellis in the Lightning McQueen themed BMW there, and we see the train of GT3s come over that hump on the main straight as we go on board now with the Peugeot. This is going to be this will be Johnson here, right behind Lucas Keys, fighting over P4. Yeah, Ashley Johnson in the Peugeot here, with the Cadillac of Austin McNeil closing up under braking behind as well. So yeah, these hypercars still going to take a few laps to really get into their stride. It's pretty hard to just hit the ground running in these sort of cars. But yeah, there's kind of this little train of 4 cars forming here. Lucas just slightly dropping off the back of Lawrence there. Maybe being a little bit of cork in the bottle. I know Lucas drove also ACC last night, so he's a very busy man in terms of racing, and he's also got the Duos series on Saturday, as that's very wide behind him from Johnson there, and that's going to put him slightly into the clutches of Austin McNeil. But if anyone's raced around Austin McNeil, you'll know he's a very cool, calm, collected driver, so he's not going to rush anything. He's pretty he's pretty knowledgeable in what he does, and very smooth driver is Harry Murphy now. Definitely closing up onto the back of him here. We'll see if he can get a decent run out of the final corner, but the aero wash is definitely going to hurt him here as he's right tucked under the back of McNeil.
Yeah, look, very close at the moment. Could be looking for a move here for Team 1. Getting alongside along the straight. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull off the move. It's a very tight turn. It looks like McNeil's backed out a little bit, maybe looking for the switchback. Got up right close behind. Oh, and it looks like Murphy's actually gone off track there as well. I think McNeil also passed the line, so that's off track for both of them. So that would have been a bit of a scary situation going alongside into that T1, which is already hard enough by yourself. The field spreading out quite a bit, with only a couple of the cars really sticking together. That top 3, and these two are currently glued together quite well. We're now on board with Shady Samuel, who's following behind Benefield, who's currently leading this race in that Ferrari. This is going to be a close and intense battle. Shady Samuel, again, really, really good driver, so should be fun. And also to mention, Lucas is also doing the ELMS tomorrow, by the way. So he's doing, what's that?
Yeah, he's doing P2s, I believe, tomorrow.
Four races this week.
Yeah, so he's ACC on the Wednesday, this on the Thursday, Friday's got ELMS, and then Saturday he's got Duos. So yeah, very busy in terms of racing, but we all know Lucas loves racing, and we see a stopped BMW on the side of the road. I'm not exactly sure who that is, but that is not where you want to be parked on the racetrack. And Shady Samuel now still holding on to Benefield, not dropping off the back, and Harry Lawrence as well, also not too far off. And then obviously behind that, it's a little bit further back to Lucas, who potentially just struggling getting the car in the window, and Johnson has just passed Lucas, if the timing tower is correct there. So possibly a move down the straight that's just occurred. As I was going to mention this with the McNeil thing as well, potentially people going for more or less aggressive strategies in terms of fuel and virtual energy consumption in this race. Obviously, the less fuel and virtual energy you use is going to work out better, as Lucas Keys, I believe he was just overtaken, so he's just trying to mount an attack now back on the back of Johnson. He's very close. Johnson running very wide going into the hairpin of turn 5.
Yeah, looking very, very tactical now. Murphy right on the back, so the pack is actually closing back in again. Lucas Keys now has the trouble of Murphy, who's shown he's very quick, moved up 2 positions since the start of the race, and will be looking for it. I'm seeing some smoke there, so someone's locked up coming into Portimao. Again, a very difficult corner. You're coming up over a crest, very easy to spin if you get your braking wrong. And we head into a very tight hairpin here. A bit of a lock up there. I believe that was from Lucas Keys. This is very opening up a very intense battle here from Murphy behind. Murphy gonna, again, looks like maybe a similar move is gonna happen to what happened to McNeil. He's right on the back. Let's see if he can get a better exit than Lucas Keys out of the final turn of Galp. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe Keys and McNeil are just running a slightly less fuel or virtual energy hungry sort of strategy right now, where they're using a little bit less in the opening stages of the race, but they'll kind of gain it back that time in the pit stop. As yeah, we can see. So Harry Murphy's only got 49% virtual energy, I believe that is. So obviously
Splitting the race 50-50.
yeah, although I'm not sure that it's normal to go that short. We'll have to see how it works out for him, because it does look like he is clearly being more aggressive than the other drivers on track at the moment. So yeah, he's definitely gone for a more aggressive strategy here. We'll have to see if it pays off. Obviously, as we were mentioning before, it was more likely that people were going to try extend their strategy rather than go short. Oh, that's a massive snap from Donnelly there, just managed to catch it. That is a very easy place to lose the car there. He just manages to keep on track. Steeper is now looking for a move into the uphill blind corner of Portimao, but can't quite get it done. But he's definitely all over the back of that Peugeot, which just, I have to say, looks so odd without the rear wing. It hurts my eyes a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Harry Murphy here still pestering Lucas Keys, getting right on the back of him. Into Sagres there of turn 14, and now probably going to have a run down the main straight. But again, this may all be futile, as he will probably lose a lot of the time he gains here in the pit stop later on. But it is providing us pretty good entertainment, so I'm not complaining.
Here we go, Harry Murphy around the inside of Lucas Keys. Lucas Keys kind of backing out or hitting that curb. Murphy goes wide, so Lucas Keys takes the position back again. And that was a perfect move there from Lucas Keys to keep the position. Just waiting for that switch back on that T1, because again, it's a tight turn. So coming in on the inside, you're going to end up going wide. And I think the person on the outside at the start of the turn definitely can get a better exit out of there, as we saw there. We're jumping on board with the GT3s, and it is Curtis who is following behind here, and I believe that's behind Jared Ellis in the BMW, and that should be Mike Rosser just behind there in the McLaren. And it's looking like a nice little battle here. We've seen Diabol's or Ben Curtis in last season as well, and he had some of the more interesting battles throughout the season, so definitely one to watch. I believe he wasn't in the Mercedes last season. I think he was in a different car, but he does not look slow either in this one.
Yeah, the Mercedes kind of difficult. I found it to drive when I tried it in GT3, quite understeery. Oh, that's a hypercar off. They just passed. I believe that was a
Oh, it's Johnston.
Maybe? Yeah,
Ashley Johnston.
Yeah, Johnston's gone off, so we'll have to see what happened there. I just caught it out of the corner of my eye as they passed. I just saw this stationary green thing. But yeah, that'll move everyone up one spot, as Johnston now goes down the leaderboard, unfortunately down to P9, as this group of three continues on here. Keys, Murphy, and McNeil as part of this little battle pack here.
And Benefield's dropped from first.
Oh yes, he has.
Shady Samuel's taking the lead. Benefield's now in third place.
And Lawrence also, yeah, has then moved up into P2. So that is quite strange. Well, we're starting to hit the start of the GT3s here, which obviously could very much play a part in the things that we might be seeing here. So maybe some multi-class action has caused a bit of chaos here, but we'll have to grab a replay of what has happened to the leaders as well as Johnson here.
Yeah, I can see on our side screen that Ben is currently just looking for where this situation has happened. As I said earlier, it's very easy to spin these cars, especially at some of these turns where you're coming downhill. You've got to use a lot of brake just to slowly come off. It's not easy, but we'll let these cars, just the sound of the cars, come through for a minute while we do find that replay.
Yeah, you can also start to see now the difference in energy strategy in the leaderboard here. So we've got obviously Samuel leading on 79%, but then you know, some cars that might be saving more, like McNeil, are already 2% more energy currently. As Murphy goes wide at T1 again, just getting kind of stuck behind the draft of Lucas Keys in this little battle here. But I believe we should be getting the replay here soon of what happened to our leader, Daniel Benefield, coming into turn 1 in that blue Ferrari. He's going to hit the brakes. Oh, missed the apex slightly, and then around it goes. So
Saw the
yeah.
sparks. Oh, and I think I
That was
found out
very
what
close.
happened to Johnston there. I think Johnston was the one who went flying to the right to avoid that incident.
Yeah, possibly.
What it looks like is the cars, because there's a bump there as you come around that turn for the apex. It's looks like maybe just the floor's scraped and the car's just fully lost it. So bottomed out. Nothing you can do there really at that point. So very unlucky. We're gonna, I think, get another replay here on board with this red hypercar. And
This
good
is Lawrence, I
avoidance.
believe. Yeah, just had
Good
to
avoidance.
had to rip the steering wheel sideways to get out of the way of that one. But I didn't
Interested
quite
to see
see
what
what happened
happened
with
with
Johnston.
Johnston. Yeah,
Yeah,
Johnston moving down from, what was that, 4th position all the way down into into 9th now. So definitely not had what you wanted. Yeah, as you were saying about the energy, Lucas Key's still on 79%, while a lot of them have actually dropped quite far down. Murphy's going to have to pit fairly soon with already at 38%. So I'm waiting to see when he's kind of going to make the plunge. You'd want to do it when you're still getting held up, wouldn't you? So that way you can get some clean
yeah.
air and get going
Well,
and have better outlaps.
apparently the strategy in this game is less like ACC, where you want to split it half and half. Apparently it's better to sort of run as long as you can and pit at the end, from what I've heard. So Murphy doing that strategy is not quite orthodox,
Here we
as
go.
this is what's happened to Johnson. Yeah, I thought we were at a different part of the... Oh
Uh,
no, just a slow loop, and yeah, and then he's on the grass, so you can't get any traction to get going again.
Blind
But
corner as
yeah,
well, so you have to be careful about rejoining there. And this
yeah,
is where the GT3s are going to play a part. Look at this. The hypercars getting stuck up in the hairpins gets very, very close. They obviously want to get by as quick as they can, but they have to very much take their time and not cause an incident here, especially with these GT3s, because it will always almost come back on them.
well, that's really helped Lawrence here. That's Shady Samuel right in front of him, who's been held up by the GT3s now. So Lawrence right on the back of Shady, coming down the main straight now. So yeah, GT3 traffic is obviously gonna it's gonna give and it's gonna take as well. So it kind of ebbs and flows here. But yeah, Lawrence really closed the gap. If you had told me a couple minutes ago that he'd be fighting for the lead, I wouldn't have believed you. But here we go again. Harry Murphy trying to look for a move. And just one more thing I wanted to note with the spins, as I kind of alluded to during quali. Oh, that's a dive bomb from Harry Murphy. I think we just caught right at the end there. That is a massive train coming through turn 4 now. That is a lot of cars, and the hypercars are really going to get bogged down behind all these
Oh,
GT3s. And
Benefield fully gone.
oh,
Benefield down
Benefield's
in
fully...
11th now.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm wondering if that's part
oh,
of the
Harry.
GT3 traffic. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think Murphy's potentially going to
Oh,
lose out of position here. Oh,
there
yeah.
was a whole field of hypercars off at the back there at that hairpin. I'm wondering if the different braking and stuff for the cars has caused a few issues, especially coming down into those. This is as I said, a very difficult track for braking, especially in a car that doesn't have ABS. And then you have the issue of GT3s, which do have ABS, so they'll be able to brake a lot, I guess, simpler, you could say. So we've got a few things that we probably need a replay of now, especially
Yeah.
Benefield now in 12th.
Yeah, well, the thing to note as well is because the hypercars are going so much faster into the corner, they actually have to brake at a fairly similar
Oh,
point to the GT3s, but because they're going so much faster. Obviously, as I mentioned before, the spinning cars will also destroy your tires in this game, unfortunately. And I think we're about to see the knock-on effect of that as Benefield. That is not how you enter the pits, my friend. One wheel on the grass just locks it up immediately and enters the pits sideways. So I have a feeling that might be Benefield done, as he's probably been been done for multiple things, such as speeding in the pits now as well. So, yeah, that's not
Oh,
really how you do it. And there's even more that I'm seeing now.
oh, so this is why he's
Unfortunately, on
entered
my
the pits
side.
coming in. Yeah, so what we're going to
Ah,
get here
right.
is the replay of what's made him enter the pits. Obviously, after having a spin, your tyres are already going to be dead, so you've got quite a few flat spots. So he's coming up here on the back of a lot of GT3s.
Through
A lot of,
Samsung.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
pressure here. This is now the downhill. You come up alongside very sketchy corner, especially coming in along, and then you
Oh
collision with the
no!
GT3 at Portimao, and
Oh
it's
no!
into the wall. Yeah, okay. I'm surprised he still has a wing there.
Yeah, that's such a dangerous corner, that one, the blind uphill. You have to have your wits about you. And unfortunately, I don't think the GT3 just saw him coming at all there, and just kind of turned across and caused that collision there. But yeah, that very unfortunate for Benefield, who was leading. Obviously, had his spin and probably wasn't on the best tyres, and also probably wasn't in the best mood after dropping out of P1, and then obviously things got worse. And then on top of that, we saw the pit entry, which was, well, yeah, quite suboptimal, I guess, is the best way of explaining that. But now, yeah,
Oh,
Shady Samuel and, oh, what is it?
McNeil's also had a spin, and there's some more spins going on within the hypers. Johnston's now moved back up to 6th because of all these incidents. Here we've got a replay.
There's too
This is
much
the
going on.
one and only Aston Martin in the hypercars here tonight.
Skip.
And looking
Oh,
all right there, coming over the hill, going in between the GT3s. And is it another touch? It's a similar corner, Portimao. Oh, the
ooh.
GT3's kind of centered up the inside there of the hyper, and
S-
spin there from the GT3.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was talking about with the ABS in the GT3s. They can actually brake kind of harder in certain places of the track where the hypercars just can't, because they don't have that ABS. So yeah, the GT3s brake quite late going into the corner of Portimao there, and just turned around the Aston Martin, the beautiful Valkyrie of Steve Lewis there. And yeah, I would also like to see what happened to McNeil, because he's been doing so well, just conserving his energy. You can see out of the cars he's got among the most, him and Lucas Keys pretty much have the most VE left out of everyone. As this is Ellis now under threat as well from Rosser in the McLaren just behind him. Rosser likes the McLaren. I think he drives it in AC. Sorry, he has driven it there before as well. So yeah, this GT3 train continuing on. Layla Bell as well in that big old Lexus in the back. But yeah, I would like to see what happened to McNeil there,
Something
'cause he
to
was doing
change it
so
up.
well.
The
Yeah.
car leading this train, Jared Alice, car number 3 for the GT3s, has a DT for collision with Benefield. So they've had a look, and Benefield has been put at fault. Oh, he's on the curb. Oh, it is spun because he went onto the curb. That curb
Oh
catches you out so
no.
easily, and not a great spot either. Again, one of those corners where it's so hard to get back onto the track. And also,
Yeah.
Benefield received a stop-go for speeding into the pits, so it looks like Benefield's race might be over at this stage. That's a lot to come in on.
Yeah, I believe I did mention that pit entry was likely to cause. Oh, that's very close on the exit. Geez, Steve, you've already had one incident. I think it's time to chill out. But yeah, that pit entry was not going to net him anything else but a speeding, I think. But yeah, here we go. Ben Curtis now right on the back of Rosser. He might look for a move coming into T3 of Lagos. Doesn't think about it yet, but he is right on the back of that McLaren. Definitely showing some decent pace in that Merc. He's got it running pretty well, as we can see, up in P6. That McLaren, though, I have driven the McLaren here. It does feel fairly nice. So yeah, Rosser as well, decent car underneath him too. And that Lexus behind is a monster on the straights, and it's a pretty fun car to drive from what I've seen. I haven't driven it much myself, but I bet Layla's having some fun in it right now, as we see some of the hypercars still making their way through the GT3 traffic, but most of it should be over by now.
Just having a look here as well. Mark Bushell, 79%, might be on for finishing the race without having a pit, but don't know how far behind he's going to end up by the end there. Benefield's come back out, now dropped down to 81% of power. I've been looking at Lucas Keys, so he's now at 66% with 39 minutes left of the race to go. If the race ends at exactly 1 hour, he he might finish it. I think he could finish without a pit stop if he keeps the rate that he's currently on of energy saving. So I'm just going to keep an eye on his energy there, and we'll see. He's definitely got the most out of everybody. Donnelly maybe the other one who's most likely in contention. I don't know how far behind Bushell is, but I imagine it's a bit behind considering we've had a few spins and he's not made up many positions there.
Yeah, unfortunate for Benefield. Obviously, he's been quite successful in previous seasons of LMU here, especially in the hypercars. We all know he's very, very fast. Shady Samuel as well now kind of inherits that position of P1, and I think he's slightly pulled away. Oh no, he hasn't quite pulled too much of a gap, but Lawrence will be hurting in this dirty air of that Peugeot right now, so he will struggle a little bit as they pass Jared Ellis, who has served the drive-through penalty. Shady actually gets in front before the corner, which is massively going to help him here as Lawrence now gets stuck behind on the apex. So the little things like that with the GT3 traffic is just going to give Shady a little bit of an advantage here to just slightly eke out this gap. But obviously, if these guys have burned up a lot of their energy trying to pull away from the pack, they will pay for it later on in the pit stops. Obviously, people to look out for: Lucas Keys and, like you said, Mark Bushell as well, slightly further back, potentially going for the no-stop strategy.
And we've also had someone, Damiano Thurcolini's come into the chat and let us know that potentially Vintner might be able to make it to the end as well, based off of the percentages. Vintner not that far behind, so definitely anything at play now. This is obviously before pit stops are done, so strategies can happen. Ben, could we get a view of the timing tower, please, to show the gaps? The chat is asking for it. Thank you.
There we go. Yeah, so you can clearly see P1 and P2 have built a pretty solid gap to the rest of the field, with 20 seconds between them. Obviously, Shady Samuel has been around for a very long time. That is very wide from Ben Vintner, potentially going to put him at threat of Ashley Johnson to send a move down the inside, coming up the hill into turn 13. He gets the move done, but obviously we know Ben Vintner playing a little bit more of a long game here. He's not going to fight this one too hard if he knows it's going to cost him time and, most importantly, energy. So he's just going to sit back, let Ashley Johnson get past, and he'll just continue racing his own race. But yeah, Shady Samuel been around quite a while on ACC and other games. Lucas Keys as well, and yeah, some of these people have been around a long time on multiple different games. So yeah, definitely lots of experience on this grid here tonight, and I'm sure that they'll use that experience to their own advantage here, as different things like strategy and all that sort of stuff comes from having lots of time and experience in these sort of events.
I would love to know how long the pit stop plus transit time will take, because Lucas Keys is 23 seconds behind and slowly falling away from those top two. So there is every chance that he could have potentially, with this fuel saving, fallen off back, that he's not going to actually benefit from not pitting. So it is very interesting watching these towers, and then he's obviously got to worry about Murphy right on his back, and Johnston actually seems to be approaching quite quickly if we do watch him just slowly gaining time on them. But those, yeah. And the GT3s, the field really not changing up too much.
I was just going to mention, like, we've barely looked at the GT3 top three because they've driven so well so far. Obviously Talbot and Jacobs just driving away from the field in the best GT3 car ever created. I don't care what anyone says, the Ford is the best, and obviously the Porsche just behind them. So yeah, a pretty good race from them. Haven't seen too much go on, as now we watch Harry Loris again just try to close up to the back of Shady, but constantly kind of getting stuck in these awkward situations with traffic, like we're seeing, and just can't really get close enough to actually put on a move. As yeah, you need to be pretty close in the hypercar, especially without ABS. You don't want to be sending it too far back, otherwise bad things can happen. As yeah, Harry Murphy should be coming into the pits pretty soon. He's only on 16% energy, which means
Ooh.
he has definitely gone half and half.
New changes on that. Having a look, so 3 minutes and a half left of the race. Lucas Keys, if he keeps the current pace that he's at, will definitely make it to the end. Looking at that, Vincent are actually using a bit more, and McNeil maybe even possibly being able to make it to the end now with the 55%, 56% left of his energy. So we're looking like this could turn out that a lot of the field does move up just because they don't need a pit.
And I tell you what's been absolutely perfect for Lucas Keys, the fact that he's kept Murphy behind him. If Murphy's race pretty much has been squandered by Lucas just blocking him, driving his slow strategy, because Murphy hasn't been able to get past, and now he's going to have to pit. So unfortunately, Lucas Keys has completely acted as a roadblock to Harry Murphy here. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't think his strategy is going to quite work. I mean, I'll be happy to see if it does, but yeah, the race has been quite up and down. Obviously, we've had changes to the lead, quite a few spins, as you kind of predicted in qualifying. I think you mentioned that there's a high likelihood of spinning here, which has definitely come true. As
Or
GT3 traffic, yep.
we just cut in with this very close now. This is, I think, the closest they've been for a minute. So GT3 traffic obviously going to play a part in this as they enter up towards Portimao. There's a Ishan Lele in front there in the Porsche, currently in third for the GT3s at the moment, looking to keep up with Jacobs, so not wanting to slow down too much. They get to keep the straight line. Lawrence being able to take the inside on Lele, while you have Shady Samuels having to take the outside. And they might get a little bit stuck here with that GT3. They're going to cut back, and they're looking very close. This is going to be interesting for when they get down towards T1. So they're about to jump onto the main straight. This is the final turn. A little bit of a wiggle from them both. Obviously a bit scary coming over a hill straight down. I think Shady Samuels just had a bit of a better exit on the end of that turn, and then they're going to come into turn 1. And Lawrence is not going to get stuck behind the GT3 again for turn 1, so he's keeping it close to Shady Samuel as they go around towards turn 2, which doesn't have a name, and then it's Lagos, which we're going into now, the hairpin that leads up towards turn 4, which then puts you on the back straight. A nice spot before you head down a hill into one of my least favourite turns on this track because it is so hard to brake there, but Lawrence looks like he's lost out on that hairpin. Let's see how well he does into the braking zone here. Having the GT3 behind a little bit worrying because, again, they have better brakes, so they can brake just that little bit later. And it looks like Lawrence has lost enough time to give just Shady Samuel that little bit of a gap that he needs just to rest and get back into the flow.
Yeah, exactly. The toe doesn't seem to be doing Lawrence much favors, so maybe Shady running a little bit less wing as they pass the leader. Ooh. That's not what Lawrence wanted there. I don't think he was trying to go up the inside. Oh, that's very wide from Shady. So, yeah, wow, that was quite close there. Lawrence almost having contact, and he's flashing now, Shady. And Shady, yeah, possibly just running a little bit wide there, potentially distracted by what's going on in his mirrors. And now Lawrence is very close, so we'll see what this toe can do. Coming out of the final corner of Sagre's, second last corner. Coming into this fast sweeping right hander, very difficult to do with the dirty air of the car in front of you, but we'll see if Lawrence can get a good enough run to close the gap. It's 4/10 coming onto the straight. We'll see what kind of effect this toe has, but I have a feeling it's not going to be quite enough. He's just going to have to bide his time, wait for another potential mistake like that from Shady to make his move now. He's going very aggressive into T1, but Shady just gets a slightly better drive, but we see how much Lawrence is closing up under brakes here. He seems quite a bit more confident in those difficult braking zones that this track has to offer, so that's potentially why he's making up this gap here. Shady swerving across the track, trying not to give Lawrence any hint of a toe, as he knows that once that Peugeot behind him, or sorry, the Alpine behind him starts coming his way, it's going to be pretty hard to block.
Yeah, Lawrence really looking for anything here. That T1 going on that curve is scary enough as it is. I'm surprised he survived through there. And then he looked like he mounted that yellow sausage curb over in turn 3 of Lagos. So it could have been dangerous, but he seems to have survived and he's still run on the back. 3/10 now. This is probably the closest they've been once again as they enter into Portimao, I believe. No, we're not. That is Samsung.
This is Craig Jones.
This is Craig Jones, and then this is...
Oh, no, sorry. No, we're
Wait,
further
I was
behind.
right.
What, this
That
is
was
turn
Portimao. This
13.
is
Yeah.
Segris now. Almost. That's Segris just
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Losing my brain. That's all right. So we're moving into the final turns here. So this is Segris, the second last turn as they then come around. They've got GT3s ahead of him. So is this going to block Lawrence off for the final turn? He's going to have to take a tighter line, which might set him up a little bit worse. So yeah, you see, he lost actually quite a few tenths there
Yeah, he's going
at
to
the
lose a
final
bunch
turn,
of time.
having to do that. And they're also now catching up to lap traffic of the hypercars. You see now Murph. No, that's not Murphy. Who's that ahead? There's some hypercar lap
I'm not
traffic
sure.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, blue flags will have to move out the way and concede the position. It is a Porsche of some description. Oh,
They're off the
well, it
track.
was a Porsche. He's now exited the track. So I guess that blue flag out the way for them. But yeah, Lawrence still in pursuit here. Shady holding on, as I said before, very experienced driver. Definitely knows what he's doing, so he's not going to give this one up too easy if he can help it. And yeah, GT3 field looks pretty static as well. We're going to get a replay from them here in a second coming down the hill. This is benefit. Oh, geez, that's Ryan Smith. That's a big crash. That Mercedes just lost the rear end on him, I think, just coming through Craig Jones there into Portimao, and that's going to be a hefty amount of damage here. As Shady Samuel is blocked by the GT3. It's going to allow Lawrence to get right up behind him, possibly looking for a move here, going up the hill into turn 13. Doesn't think about it quite yet, but he's definitely on the back of Shady now. If he can hold this sort of gap through these final two corners of Stark Racing Gap, then he'll be right on the back of Shady come the main straight. But it looks like he just dropped off. Really struggling to follow Shady, I've noticed, through these final few corners. Shady potentially running a little bit more wing, or got the car set up a little bit better just for that last part of the track, which allows him to drive off that final corner and sort of maintain enough gap that he needs.
Yeah, I wonder if it comes to how much they're lifting for that final turn as well, because we do see him drop off quite a bit, specifically in that final corner compared to everywhere else. And here they go, another bit of lap traffic. That is Marsh there, just there in front of them, and he'll have to jump out of the way on this straight to let them through, which he does, nice and clean. And they're going to head down into again the terrible turn of Toro VIP or Toro VIP. I don't know how they say it. I don't like it either way.
Yeah, very difficult downhill braking zone.
But yeah, these two are going to be a very entertaining battle throughout. Lucas Keys and Murphy also getting quite close there on the timing boards. It's swaying back and forth between those two. Murphy also has Johnston now quite close to them. So Johnston's made up quite a bit of time here. And is able to push through. Shady Samuel having to maybe take a bit more of a defensive line through there. Harry Lawrence right on the back. This is looking like it's getting close again, but it's the same sort of gap we've seen the last few times. They're now 2/10 down. It's close. It's 1/10. It's going back up again. It's just going to keep swaying back and forth with these two, because again, Shady Samuel just seems to have this last sector down packed really well. Harry Lawrence getting right on the back there, but having to brake and come out of that corner quite slow because he got too close there, and it's going to compromise his exit down onto the straight once again.
Yeah, the gap just opening up to about 5.5 tenths there. So I reckon he needs 3 or less tenths coming onto the straight really to have a chance in the toe, as we see the toe really only makes up just under 2 tenths on that main straight there. So not doing too much for Harry Lawrence there. Oh, that's a big send. I don't think he's...
Oh, there's contact.
Oh, he's just pulled that up, but I think there was contact there. Shady Samuel not going to be happy about that one, and Harry Lawrence, yeah, redresses it on the exit of turn 4 there. I think he knew that was possibly a bit of a mistake there. Didn't quite meant to go from that, at least I think from the lockup there he had. It was pretty big, and yeah, redresses that position, doesn't want a penalty, so fair enough. They're going to play on, but I think Shady might be a little bit slightly annoyed with that one, because it was quite a big send.
Yeah, look, he redressed that quite quickly. I have a feeling it might have been just a bit of the braking not going so well, and not a proper send on purpose, because that was very, very late and very close to causing issues. And again, they're dealing with traffic here. Shady just getting held up once again, and they're in that third sector again, so we're going to see them not move away. Murphy just refilled up again. Keys, the one with the most energy left, quite a bit of a difference compared to everybody else. I think he's got it for sure, even if he started to push now. I feel like he could make it to the end. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a matter of how far away they can get from Lucas Keys and then who has the better pit stop from these two. But even looking, Lawrence is actually being able to save just that little bit more energy by sitting behind Shady Samuel. Obviously, that slipstream just helping save that bit of fuel that he needs. And now they come up to more GT3 traffic that's just exiting the pit. So, that's looking very close there between Shady Samuel and Callum Rosser as they now enter, once again, Lagos, turn 3 of the track, coming up turn 4 onto the back straight. It's always fun seeing these two go down here. But again, Harry Lawrence just not able to make up that time in the distance. He's looking, just showing his nose, giving Shady Samuel a little hello from behind. But Shady doesn't shake that easy.
No, definitely not. You can kind of pull out and show your nose there, but yeah, as it's a downhill braking, he's having a look. He jinked out to the side there to try and put off Shady again. But I think he definitely thought better of sending a move there, because that corner is not quite the place to make an overtake as we head up the hill into Portimao now. Another potential overtaking spot here, and I think what Harry's doing is just kind of sniffing out Shady's weak spots. He's trying to figure out where he can potentially go for a move if Shady's a little bit slower than what he is, or a little bit less confident on the brakes. It's all about finding the right spot to do the overtake in these sort of situations where you do have time. He does have the advantage of time on his side. It's not like he needs to complete the overtake in the next few laps, so he can kind of methodically calculate his way into it. But again, just dropping off the back on the main straight, a little bit closer this time than in previous laps, but I dare say not quite close enough.
Johnston's made the pass on Lucas. They're still very close here, but it looks like Johnston's successfully gotten past Lucas Keys and has moved up into that third position. Obviously, there's still pit stops to go. I don't imagine Lucas would have fought it too hard. Obviously, track position is always great, but he's definitely got the most energy out of everybody out here. So I am interested to see how long these pit stops are going to be for Shady Samuel and Lawrence, and whether that pushes them behind Lucas Keys.
Well, Lawrence looking for it here. Oh, that was very close. You just tell he was right on the edge of blocking those front wheels there, as now they're encountering a lot more GT3 traffic. As Shady's going to get stuck behind the Lexus here, possibly opening the door for Lawrence. No, Lawrence doesn't go for it quite yet. Lawrence actually takes that quite conservatively, doesn't want to cause an accident. But yeah, again, just one slightly wrong move in this GT3 traffic can get you stuck behind a slower car, and the other car can definitely take advantage of it if you're not careful. Here again, Ben Curtis, he doesn't know which way he's going to go. He's going to, exactly what I just said could have happened, just happened. Shady Samuel not knowing which way to go around Ben Curtis in that Mercedes, just kind of stuck on that fast downhill corner of turn 12, where it's really difficult to see where people are actually going to try go, and the GT3s are kind of stuck to one line. But that is Harry Lawrence through on Shady Samuel. Very unlucky for Shady, although Shady good drive out of the final corner. He is right behind him. This is not quite the time for a replay, but we're going to take it anyway. I can just look on the main screen as this is how Johnson got past Keys here as the leaders. You can just see on that little screen down the bottom have gone into turn 1 and turn 2 now. Keys on the back of Johnson right now, and I believe we're seeing still in the replay, Ben. This is Lawrence. Oh, okay. Well,
it switches to live. The replay is a bit weird.
Yeah, there we go anyway. But yeah, Harry Lawrence just got quite lucky there with the GT3 of Ben Curtis. I believe Ben's trying to get up a replay of what just happened. So that's why we just had that there. But yeah, Ben Curtis just kind of wrong place, wrong time, and Shady Samuel just, you could see he hesitated. He tried to go one way and then the other. You'll see here, look, he looks to the outside, and then Ben Curtis also goes to the outside, and Harry Lawrence just commits to that inside and sends it on through. So good committal by him. Yeah.
Such a difficult corner. The cars, like, you want to go wide there to set up for the next, and the racing line can be so different for every person. So, of course, it's going to be difficult. That has not worked out well for Shady Samuel. He's just going to be hoping he has a better pit stop and is able to make up time here on Harry Lawrence again. Harry has looked quite quick all day, so we'll see what he can do and if he can keep it out ahead. Obviously, traffic still will play a huge part in this. Looking down at the GT3s, Lele's obviously been passed here. Now, an 8-second gap between Lele and I believe that's Rashudi. So, could be due to pit stops. I'm not 100% sure. but not looking great there for the car of Ishan Lele. Now we're looking along still at Harry Lawrence. Oh, we've got a replay here, so this might actually be what's caused
This is
the issue.
Lele, I believe.
Oh, hitting that curb, that
Oh,
T1
yeah.
curb and apex. Nice spin. The tyres are going to be dead. I'm guessing just gets past here. Yep, by the Ferrari of
Ooh,
Raschuti. Has to move
yeah.
back off the track because that is a very dangerous spot to sit, and has rejoined and
Also,
back into the battle.
Lawrence already 2.7 seconds ahead of Shady. So maybe Shady is now trying to conserve energy, possibly, for the end of the race, because
Oh, I don't
no,
think
it
they're going
doesn't
to make
seem
it.
like it. Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think they're
think they
going to
can
make
make it
it.
with that with 30, 27%, 26%. I think Lucas, McNeil, and Vincent are. Maybe, possibly Steve Lewis, and yeah, and of course Donnelly. They are, I think, the only ones who are able to make it to the end from here. I don't think
Yeah,
26% is enough.
yeah, interesting. Well, it just, yeah, unless Lawrence, I mean, Lawrence is just blown basically past Samuel in terms of pace now. Like almost 3 seconds in one lap is a pretty insane gap to pull out. So yeah, that's a lot of pace Harry Lawrence obviously has in that up in 4 seconds now. I
Some penalties coming in as the field does open up. A penalty for number 5, a 10-second penalty for causing collision on lap 2. That is the Mercedes of Ryan Smith. Penalty for number 3, DT for causing collision on lap 8. I believe I called that one earlier. That's Jared Ellis in the BMW. So that was the one where Jared Ellis had hit, I believe, Benefield.
yeah, that does sound about right at the
And a
right
40
time.
and
Five seconds
a
now.
DT for 43. I believe that's another GT3. I'm just having a quick look
Are you sure that's not Donnelly?
Is that Donnelly?
Donnelly is number 43, but I'm not sure if we have another 43
Oh,
in
it is
the.
Donnelly. Yep, that is Donnelly. So Donnelly has also received a DT for causing a collision on lap 8.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
Number 48 also had a DT. That is for sure that's Will Kemp in the Corvette in the GT3s.
That would have been what spun Steve Lewis, I think.
Yep. Number
Yep.
65 also got a DT for causing a collision on lap 10. 65 is a. We're going to find that one right now. I feel like I need to find these guys really quickly. That's a hyper, I think. 65. We don't have a. Am I blind?
Some of the numbers might not line up properly from what I've seen. So
Right. So
yeah,
that might not add up. But there's a lot of DTs. I think that's a good way to put it. There is a lot of DTs. 48 received 2 DTs, by the way, in total. Unless that's. Yeah, 48 received 2 different DTs. Will Kemp.
well,
So,
that's very close.
well,
That's Noah Reinhardt in front in the Monster Energy or Mango Monster Porsche in front of this Aston Martin here. I'm not sure exactly what position these guys are in, and that's a Ferrari hypercar passing them as well. The Aston Martin getting very close under brakes into the hairpin of turn 5. A little bit of a battle going on here as the Cadillac of, I think that's McNeil, goes for the move, coming through this difficult corner. I think he spun out earlier actually, so he'll be taking that very carefully now that he's kind of learned his lesson. Through Samsung, plunge down the hill here, and then back up the hill into Portimao. We'll see what the Aston's like on the brakes. From my experience, it's pretty stable, but the brakes aren't exactly. And more, as I've just cursed Noah Reinhardt there. Sorry, Noah. Just talking about how bad the Aston's brakes were, and then Noah just has a bit of a moment there on the brakes as well in that Porsche. Very difficult braking zone, obviously. Kind of because it drops away, it's very easy to do that and have a bit of a moment there. As we go back on board with Lucas Keys now, coming through the same sort of section here. I believe this is coming up into turn 13, passing some more GT3 traffic, which is Stefano Raschuti in the Ferrari. And yeah, Keys now 47 seconds off the back of Harry Lawrence. So I think that might still be enough with the pit transit time. if ACC is
Lawrence
anything to go by.
Lawrence 8 seconds ahead now of Shady Samuel. So it's only been a good 5-10 minutes and already gained 7 seconds on Shady Samuel since that pass has happened. So
Yeah.
Lawrence definitely having a. There's a lockup on the other screen there, which we missed. I would. I don't know who that was, but that was
I think this is
looked like a big one at
Lawrence.
T1. This is
We're on board with Lawrence right now.
we're on board with Lawrence right now. There was I saw it on the other screen. There was a lockup at T1, and one of the hypers went flying off the track. I don't know who it was. I don't know where they've ended up, but it hasn't changed our timing boards at all. So I believe it might have been someone a bit further down.
Yeah, look, Lawrence pulling out this gap so quick that, yeah, that's why I thought Shady might be trying to feel save now to the end and just like, because he knows he can't beat Lawrence on pure pace, he's just decided to try. He's seen the gap obviously back to Johnson, which is 30 seconds, which is quite a lot of time to burn, obviously. But he will have to do an extreme amount of fuel saving to make it to the end. So we'll see. We'll see if he does decide to do that. As Lawrence now passing some more GT3 traffic coming into turn 1. I believe there's a few more cars just in front of him here, which is the Mercedes and another hypercar just in front of Peugeot. The Peugeot without the wing. I think there's only one of those. I forgot who's driving it. But yeah, the GT3 field as well.
Was that Donnelly without the wing?
Yeah, it is. Yep. Good pick there. And yeah, top 3 in the GT3, obviously very stable. As well as Jacobs comes into pits, and Talbot is still leading the way in the Cam Waters themed Monster Energy Mustang there.
Love a good bit of V8 representation.
Yep, so do I.
Always good.
Yep, exactly. And now this is kind of the window where we expect to see the GT3s do their pits with about 10 minutes to go here, and potentially the hypercars as well. In the last sort of 10 minutes, obviously not all the field is going to be able to make it to the end. So we'll see if the people have practiced their pit entries, and if they haven't, because you'll find out pretty soon here especially. The pit entry it's not extremely difficult, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to catch you out. So yeah, for all those driving, we hope that they do not copy Daniel Benefield's pit entry from earlier, and enter nice and safely without a penalty as we run on board here. I believe that's Reinhardt still behind the Aston Martin of Perugia, now that he got past a couple laps ago.
Yeah, Reinhardt won't be taking that too lightly and will want to be moving back up. He's very quick at LMU, so interesting to see. But we do see here the energy left on all of these cars. Talbot going to have to pit very soon. Rashudi at 2%, so probably pitting this lap. Lele not going to be too far behind. Jacobs, obviously, who has just pitted, put in 27% of energy, so that will be making it to the end. So we'll see where he does end up at the end after the pit stops. Lawrence will be coming in a couple of laps at least. Keys, again, probably going to make it to the end with that 21%. Maybe McNeil, maybe Vincent, maybe Donnelly making it to the end. Don't see anybody else making it to the end with anything below that 18%.
Yeah, as Rashudi now jumps into the pit lane for his pit stop. So yeah, finishing on 1%, I think that was, if I'm reading correctly. And then obviously Jacobs has already pitted, so he's down at P6 with just enough fuel to make it to the end for them, or yeah, fuel and energy, I guess it is. As Mark Bushell makes the move on Talbot, who is still leading, but I assume to come in this lap. As Bushell as well, he's not in the top 8, but I think he was one of the cars that was also fuel saving, so maybe going to make an appearance into that list once the pit stops are done here.
Again, very difficult hypercar track. I know Patrick Johnston, who again was our champion of last season's hypercars, struggled a bit. Murphy with 76% virtual energy at the moment is a little bit confusing. Wondering if he might have overdone it. That's probably not going to be great there for him. But yeah, as I was saying, Patrick Johnston found this track very, very difficult to do in the hypercars. Again, it's such an unstable track at the best of times, and it's not fun. We've got here, this is Talbot, Jeremy Talbot, now entering the pits, our current GT3 leader for this race. So we're going to see, does he come out ahead? Has that extra lap helped him come out ahead of Jacobs there in the other Ford? Lele still out 2%, so we'll have to pit in this next lap. And Diabols maybe has just a couple extra laps out left compared to everybody else.
Yeah, Jacob's getting stuck here behind this sort of train of Diabols, who is Ben Curtis, as well as having the hypercars trying to overtake him as Donnelly is right behind him as well. I don't quite think he's going to make up the gap that they had in the pits, as it was quite a lot here. But yeah, there you go. Talbot is out in front, so that's actually cost Jacobs quite a lot by pitting that early.
That being stuck behind those drivers is it's a bit hard, especially when they're technically not in front of you in terms of after pit stops, but holding you up is it hurts. Yeah, so it looks like Harry has taken a full tank at his pit stop, which is not what you want to do when you're trying to do a half and half. So that's very unlucky there for Murphy. And I believe that means the pit stop would have even been a bit longer than he wanted as well. So it's not worked out in his favour at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be about 3 more laps for these hypercars, and then they will be in the pit. So potentially pitting on the last lap or the lap before the last here as someone goes tumbling down the GT3 order. I'm guessing. I guess that's because of pits, right?
Yeah, that would be just because of pits now, because everybody should be jumping in. Actually, looking at it, looks like Johnston's going to have to pit this lap. The one who just almost had a spin there, that's a bit crazy. So potentially pitting this lap. So we'll kind of see a bit of how long the pit should be. But considering it, as you were saying just then, it's only going to be a couple of laps of fuel. It should not be long in the pits, which might end up screwing over Lucas just that little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Or Rashuti, that's not where you want to be blocking a hypercar, son. Again, a little bit of a copy there of what we've seen a few times coming into that blind right-hander. The hypercars trying to get through the traffic as quick as possible, and the GT3s kind of not cooperating there. As I think Rashuti's pitted, and he's got Lele right behind him, who's also pitted. So that's going to be a bit of a battle. Possibly as the GT3s continue for P5, as we see Johnson now, coming into the pits, as you said. Very safe pit entry. Gets it stopped nice and early, unlike the other Johnson
and that's
did
Lucas
last
passed.
And yeah, there goes Lucas. So that's one position. Oh, actually, Lucas was in. Oh no, sorry, Johnson was in front of Lucas, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
And Lucas continuing on now. So he's currently got 13% energy for this last 5 minutes, which should, in theory, get him to the end. We'll see what the other drivers...
Next lap should be the pit entry for Lawrence, and maybe 2 laps for Shady Samuel left for...
Shady's... Yeah, he's definitely tried to do some saving here, you can tell, because Lawrence had more energy before he got past, and now he has less. And obviously the gap has come out quite a lot, so Shady's tried to do some fuel saving right at the end, but I don't quite think it's been enough. Vintner and the other people who've been saving the whole race, on the other hand, are in a slightly better position.
McNeil's come out in front of Johnston at the moment, so if McNeil has enough till the end, which is potential... I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be very close. I think Keys at this point is the only one, and Bushell are the only 2 that can make it to the end without having to pit. I think it's too close there for McNeil and Vintner with 9%. I just don't think they're going to make it to the end.
Yeah, but if you're Austin McNeil, do you just keep going and just like pray? Because
but you kind of have to.
Yeah, but don't you get like a big penalty if you run out of VE? Don't you get like a drive-through or like a stop-go? Someone in the chat should be able to let me know, but I'm pretty sure if you run out of energy, you get hit with a big penalty, so you don't want to do that if you can help. I'm sure someone in the chat will have the answer.
Yeah, so you have to have virtual energy at the end. So it can
Yeah.
be under 1%, so like 0 point something, but as soon as you're under zero, like as soon as you hit that 0% exactly, you're gone.
So does it say what penalty you get, or?
I think it's you like lose a few positions. I'm not sure how long.
Yeah,
So
I've seen
you
it
get
before.
you get a penalty if it's negatives, and I don't know how long it is, but I know that it's a few spots at least.
So here it is. Harry
That's
Murphy's
just-
now entered the pits. Let's see where Lucas Keys, I think this was who we are on board with right now, is
Around that
Harry
last
Murphy's just
turn.
about to stop now. Lucas
And-
Keys coming through the
Oh,
last.
he's messed up his stop. He got moved.
Oh, yeah,
he got moved.
He
Oh,
got
this is going to
moved,
be
which
close.
Yeah, depending on how far down. Oh, yeah, he's got quite a bit to drive down. I think
It's
Lucas
gonna be
is
so
just
close.
going to get
I think
through.
Lucas has got it.
Yeah, I think Lucas has got it here. We can't quite see where he is on the track.
Oh,
but
there
yeah,
he
there
is.
goes
He's got-
Lucas into T1. So
Oh, right.
very not, definitely not what Lawrence wanted in his pit stop there. I think either he stopped just slightly in the wrong spot, or something happened during his pit stop to slow him down, and that is going to cost him the lead. We'll see where Shady Samuel obviously comes out as well.
Well, if Lawrence has
having-
ended up behind Lucas Keys, Shady Samuel is as well. Because Lawrence was
Yeah,
a good
yeah, of
15
course.
seconds ahead of Shady here. So, there's 2 laps left of the race, I'm going to say. If Lucas
Well, Shady's
Keys
going
ends up
very
being
slow.
leader.
I think Shady might try and
Just
make
gotta
this.
say-
He's on 2% energy. You can just see him just trundling around because he knows that he has pretty much a 20-second gap. Oh, I know what he's doing. He's trying to cross the line with less time that's left in the race, so there's only one lap, because I think he knows if he can just use like 2% throughout this entire lap, he can
The tactics
possibly.
are on.
He's
If he
just going to
crosses the
try
line at
trundle.
130, I'm going to say 134, he's got it. He can make it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, obviously that's also a full pace lap, which is
he's
obviously
had to
not.
pit.
Oh, is he
No,
going to do it?
he's doing it.
Oh no.
He could have made it to the end. He could have made it to the
maybe.
end. It's about 2%
We'll
a
see.
lap. He could have made it.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll never know, right?
And
But
Lucas Keys out in the lead now. 1 minute left, so this is the final lap of the race. Lucas Keys in the lead. Talbot in the lead of the GT3s as well. Shady Samuel dropping behind Lawrence. I'm just seeing if he's going to drop behind McNeil. McNeil hasn't pitted, so McNeil is going to stay out with that 3% energy, it looks like. And same for Vincina, looks to be staying out. So Johnston actually losing a couple of positions. Oh, no, not Johnston. Yeah, Shady Samuel losing a couple of positions. That's what I meant.
yeah.
To the non-pit stops. So that has, I
Dude,
feel
I
like he could have made it.
Yeah, it's 3%. I
It would
think
have
for
been
a lap.
close.
Well, McNeil's on 3% right now, and he's on the final lap. So
Yeah.
potentially, if he had just saved
Oh,
1 or
someone's
2
off.
more percent. Oh,
In
I
that
didn't
camera
see
2
that,
shot, someone was off.
yeah, just 1 or 2% more for Shady Samuel, and yeah, he could have possibly made it. And I've been informed through YouTube chat that is a stop go 30 as well for running out of energy. So yeah, unfortunately, no way.
McNeil on
Shady
2%
Samuel?
left, came out with 4%. I'm gonna say he wasn't gonna make it. I think you're right. I think it's about 3% a lap. So
Yeah.
This leaderboard has changed up quite a bit since the start of the race. Lucas Keys obviously now in the lead. Here's the replay of the car that I saw
Porsche
on the brakes, on the curb.
Just instantly locked the rear there and gone around as Lucas Keys comes to the final corner to win the race with 3% energy left. So a strategy masterclass by Lucas here, to be honest. He was not looking the fastest, but I did call it pretty early. Oh, as he takes the aeroplane line through turn 1, almost flies into the crowd there. But I called it pretty early. I saw he was going slow, and when Lucas Keys is going slow, you know that there's definitely something else going on there. So yeah, he was taking that strategy option as Lawrence finishes in P2 after a slightly disastrous pit that potentially cost him the lead. McNeil in P3. crossing the line with
After
literally
a
no
spin, an
energy.
interesting race.
Exactly. Yeah, and Shady Samuel P4, bit of an up and down for him. He was leading, but then kind of just it just fell away through really no fault of his own. He just couldn't quite make it. And then Johnson, Vintner, Donnelly Murphy, Lewis, and then Bushel to round out the top 10. And you can take us
Talbot
to the
doing some.
GT.
In
Yeah,
the
you can take us.
GT3s, Talbot in the lead did a nice little spin there on our second monitor in that nice Mustang energy livery. Monster energy livery, I should say. And Jacobs taking up second place in the other Ford, so the two Fords are taking the top two. Lele managing to hold on to third after a spin a bit earlier on, and Rashuti dropping down to fourth in that Ferrari. Benjamin Curtis in fifth in that Mercedes, so had a decent race. And that's the top five for the GT3s. I'm not going to read all the way through today.
Yeah, look, that was a pretty entertaining race. We had quite a lot of action in terms of spins and traffic and changes for positions. So yeah, it was pretty good. And that closes out our racing for today. We do have obviously ELMS here at the same track, Portimao tomorrow. So that'll be just P2s and P3s. I will be racing in the P3, and so will you, I believe.
Uh
So
huh.
definitely tune in for that one. And up next, we have the vaunted Split Red, Split Blood Thursday night ACC split. Hungary is the track. Obviously,
I'm calling
uh,
death at T1. We
yep,
didn't have it
death
in
at
split yellow.
safe.
It's happening at T1.
Of course, we need safety car at T1, so everyone do your best to do that. We need some safety car action for the fans. But that will round out the racing for tonight on LMU as part of the WEX or the Thermaltake WEX series. So thank you everyone for tuning in.
Green light, give it all you got. Green light. Go, go, go.
And a jolly good evening, everyone, and welcome back to ASSETTO CORSA Competizione. My name is Gobby. Joining me in the box tonight will be my good old friend Cameron Tistleswaite. How are you, Cam?
I'm very good, Govey. I wish I had your energy so much. We're here for Split
I've
Red.
got the energy. I've been missing doing this commentary stuff. I was supposed to be racing, but LMU, ACC, completely different games. I just can't do it. So I'd rather not be an obstacle on track. So I'll be in the comms box. You know, I've been missing doing this too. As you can see from my excitement, daylight savings are over or starting. I am not sure. But we're back on the time zone I like because that means I can join in on all the fun.
Absolutely. And I know that you're not racing tonight because you really love Portimao for tomorrow. And it's definitely going to be fun to watch for all of us. We're always racing in ELMS tomorrow. Excited to do it. Friday night split. Been a while. As we get qualifying on the way for Split Red, as Carlos Johnson in the Lexus, in the Denso Lexus, in the Toyota livery, getting started in for the first lap. I have no bearing on what's good, what's bad. Gobby for Hungaroring. Lexus, I can't imagine is the first choice.
Nah, it would not be the first choice, but come on, so it's a proper race car, the Lexus, really. I love the way it looks. Fancy Camry, as a lot of us call it. I love the way it sounds. It's just got the best V8 sound out of all the cars. Apart from that, apparently it's overbuffed just because you can't go below -40. That's Carlos Johnson. There goes for a massive drift. Calm down, Carlos. It's still your your first lap, actually, not your out lap. But don't throw it away just yet, even though you do have 9 minutes to the quali. In fact, about quali for ACC, one thing I still do like about ACC is that you've got everyone on track at the same time. You know, there's still a bit of an obstacle there. You've got to find a gap on track to go through quali, and I understand why you can't do it on LMU, because with multi-class it becomes awkward. But it's good fun. It's good fun. So let's see what times Carlos here can set in the Lexus. I'm expecting 43s, even maybe a high 42 from Carlos, knowing the pace he's been having lately. He does like to drift quite a bit, but we'll see as he goes around turn 13 now, and back onto turn 14, as the delta is not really showing. It says he's on a 10-minute lap time right now, so that would not be great if it was actually 10 minutes, but we'll see now as he crosses the line. It's gonna start with a 1:44.5, and that will be the first lap for Split Red, as there are more cars coming through the finish.
Yep, Breno Ellis already going to the top on a 43.5, although he's now stuck right behind, I believe, Gosling in the McLaren. Now that problem's quickly sorted out, so that's very lucky for Breno Ellis, so that's no longer a problem in the BMW. And another BMW for 313, I believe this is Luca Giacomin in the BMW. Been a while since I've seen him in anything other than the Ferrari. Should be interesting see how he goes. Generally always quite up to the front, and we'll leave it at that, put it that way. But qualifying under the way, and yeah, obviously all the cars aren't staying. We don't have as many cars here as we did in Split Yellow the other night. Almost 40 cars, I believe. So there was definitely a lot of gap, having to find the gap at the end of the lap. But a little bit easier for these guys. Only about 30 cars in today's split, as we're on board with Kafil Slade in the Ferrari 296. The car 560, he's got a Porsche rejoining just up ahead. I believe that's Pitu Vining, who looking to just try and get out of the way and monstering these curbs. Oh, the Ferrari I've heard is pretty good over the curbs, but did catch the second one a little bit unideally there, Goey.
Yeah, it's funny with the Ferrari. It's not normally good over curves, but through the chicane, there's something about the Ferrari that turns it into, I want to say, a Mercedes. It basically takes the curve pretty flat. It feels like there's no curve there really. You might have a little bit of a bump, as we're back with Breno Ellis. Yeah, currently 0.2, almost 0.3. In fact, he is over 0.3 up on his delta. Can he keep it on the exit? And he does, and that should put him on a low 43. That would be a 43.290 for Breno Ellis. And I would like to assume that he is still warming up because of that minor incident. Obviously not of his fault. Brad Gosling just bit too aggressive on the gas, ended up going in a spin, as Kafil Slade does a 43.220, so it's looking to be pretty tight there at the top of the field.
Yeah, very good time there from Kafil Slade. And just a note on what happened in Split Yellow, I believe Chris Curley did win from the front in his Ferrari 296, and I have heard from some people that the Ferrari 296 is particularly very quick around here. Dare say the O word was used from what I heard, but we'll see what it's able to produce. Nothing to take away from Kafil Slade. It's still a very, very good lap, but not too surprising to see the Ferrari 296 quite suited to this track. It's very much a sort of a balance and downforce track, I have to say. Tim, it does tend to reward the cars that have a good downforce and also good rotation, and all well kind of the best balanced cars are generally pretty strong around here.
Oh, would you look at that? The Ferrari has amazing downforce and is very grippy in the corners. Who would have thought it's good over here? But yeah, it's good, but it's still a tool for the driver, you know? All these drivers could have taken the Ferrari if they wanted to, but obviously we're not only racing Hungaroring. In fact, the next round is Spa. And the Ferrari, in fact, is not too great at Spa, especially up Eau Rouge. If you know, you know. As we're looking at the Ferrari McLaren, sorry. Sorry, you British people, if I call a McLaren a Ferrari, it is not a Ferrari.
Your favorite sounding car.
I absolutely hate the way the McLaren sounds. It's just something about the tone of that engine when you're on board. It hurts my ears. Absolutely hate it. And it's a pretty good car. You know, some people really like it. Again, people say it is very strong. But again, you know, if you think a car is strong, why don't you take it? There's nothing wrong with taking the overpowered car, with the way some people say it. But as we're looking with Breno Ellis, he's done a 45, so it looked like that last lap he did a mistake, because if I remember correctly, after the first corner he was like 4/10 up, so there's still 4 minutes of corner to go, so I'm expecting to see a 42 here from Breno.
Yeah, it looks like he has already invalid that lap as well, so not ideal. Cafield is still at the front, and we're talking about the McLarens. There's a lot of them in the, you can see top of them, 4 of them in the top 7 right now. And I have to say, M. Richo right now, I'm not too familiar with this gentleman. Maybe it's a potential newcomer or someone from Academy has come over to sprint and really setting a very good benchmark for himself right now. Up in P4, not too sure he's going to go quicker on this lap around, but he's got plenty of time to have another stab at improving his lap time. There's Turab Bank here in the Ford Mustang. And obviously, I have to say, his son, Ibrahim Bank, did a very good job last night in the BMW around this track.
Yeah, Ibrahim was absolutely flying. He's going places. He's still a young man, still has a lot to learn. He's just, well, plenty of time to learn. He doesn't have much more to learn. Like, guy comes from Academy, he's instantly a rocket in sprints, fighting up the front. So, he's gonna go a long way, young Ibrahim. And his dad is no slouch either, currently running in the top 10 in the Red Bull Ford. It's looking like he stole that livery directly from Mr. Aiden Squires, because I'm pretty sure Aiden Squires used to run this livery. He's now one of us, represents Skill Issue Racing. But some news about M. Richo. We've been told earlier that the classification is a bit messy, and M. Richo actually turns out to be a silver driver. So don't let that red badge confuse you, as we're looking at Jack Miller. Once again in the McLaren, he goes a bit sideways there for the final corner. That is not ideal, and he's gonna have to try again this lap. He still has a couple of laps to go unless he bins the car. As we're now looking at Mateen in the skill mobile itself, the Nissan GTR, as he manages the corners. He is currently 2/10 up. His best time currently is a 44.2, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mateen in the 43s.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too surprising, but it's a very good car. A bit, kind of not as many as in this split as there was in the split yellow. And just the Mateen and I believe Lee Perkins in for silver class for that one. So I'll be interested to see how he goes. It's definitely a good car and a very, very hard car to pass. Actually, around this track, it'll be a very hard track to get any passes done. As Brandon Ellis wants to make sure he doesn't have to do any passing by getting himself up into P1, and hopefully it will start have a nice and clean start. Might be a little bit tricky in the BMW, but good entry, and should be a good exit. Bleeding a little bit of time, might equalize on the exit. 2.5 tenths up, and it is going to be enough to get him onto a 43.01.
I was so close to a 42. I know he's going to be happy with pole position, but I'm sure he's screaming at himself because he wanted that 42. I know he does. Breno Ellis being one of the faster guys here in OOR, and he's extremely competitive, and he's proud to run that #1 plate. He has one split. What's the split red? Yeah, it was. No, was it split red? Was he in split red last season? I don't remember. I think he was. If he's running the one plate, I think he was in split red. But proud double champion now. He's won the season before last as well, and he's won last season. So let's see if he can make it 3 in a row as we're back with Kafil Slade. And in fact, Breno Ellis is not exactly in the clear because Kafil Slade's already 1/10 up here. He does lose a bit of time there. Let's see if he can gain some there. We're back on with No, that is Luca Giacomin. Sorry, they're just running the same, not the same livery. It's just running the same car. It's just odd seeing these guys. Normally, Breno Ellis, I'm used to seeing him either in a Porsche or an Audi, and Giacomin, we both know that he loves the Ferrari. So it's weird seeing these two drivers all of a sudden driving the BMW. But we're back with Kafil Slade, and unfortunately for Kafil, he has lost all of his time. So perhaps he didn't have the best chicane there. But he's just the final sector to manage. You know, a miracle could still happen. But so far it is not looking like he's going to manage to get pole. But as I say that, he gains 2/10 on the entry there. But unfortunately, he does lose it on the exit as he manages the second last corner. Here's the the second of the hairpins. Lots of hairpins on this track. And he's still equal. He's just not quite enough to get back up on pole. But I don't think he's going to be too upset with provisional P2. I'm wondering where my good old friend John Gormley is. He should be in here, but having talking to him earlier, he's just not vibing too well today.
Great lap there by Francis Sam to get up into P3 in the McLaren. That's a very, very good lap by
There
him.
he is, and look at the delta. He is 4/10 up. Come on, John. I'm rooting for my boy here, John Gormley, with an interesting themed Lexus RCF. I think it is Monster Hunter themed. He is a big fan of Monster Hunter, and he does have the time. All he has to do is manage one more corner. He's currently sitting in P19, but I'd like to assume that if he does go almost 5/10 up. It is so green, John. So green. The delta is green. The car is green, and he manages to get back up to P13. Fantastic lap, my friend. As we do get Zach Warren also getting in a 43.797 to get himself in the top 10. That was a fantastic quality session, and I'm so proud of my boy. As we're with Iman, with Iman, it unfortunately doesn't improve, and will have to settle with P26. Anyways, that was a good quali session.
Indeed.
Mr. Cam?
And
There you are.
you don't check your
so
messages, do you?
I, you know what? I do not check my messages when I'm
That's okay.
commentating. Oh yeah, right. You had. All right, my apologies because
Don't read them now. It's you now.
It's because I'm on Do Not Disturb, right? I'm a popular man. Everyone wants to
very busy.
I just set my Discord.
Got your Discord on silent, just like your phone, because your boss is calling.
Yeah, if you know when someone calls me when I'm in the middle of something, I get quite angsty. I'm turning into an old man now, but there's some very good liveries here. Some very interesting Lexus. You know what? I really like Carlos's Lexus livery. I think it fits really, really well with that car.
Yeah, I believe that one's from might be a bit of a race department job, if I remember. I think it's a well-known Toyota livery. It's been up for a while. Obviously adapted a little bit, but yes, John's car. Yes, it's a car.
It's Monster Hunter themed.
Look at all the Lexuses here. Lexus, Nissan, Lexus,
Nissan. I have been vouching for the Lexus this whole time, right? And we've convinced the boys up top to give us back the Lexus, and the drivers did not disappoint, filling the grid with the best car in the game. Just 10 out of 10. Best car. Proper race car, the Lexus. Ooh, I like the livery on that Nissan. I forgot the name of this. He-Man. I've heard of it. I've never actually watched it, but that is a beautiful livery run by
I'm not 40, so I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I'm not quite up there just yet. Now, of course, we've got the Apex Ferrari. That's another beautiful, beautiful livery. Ran by one of the Bruneian boys. And then we've got Scotty's Cornflakes livery. That's another one I really, really like. It's odd seeing Annie not running a Kovacs livery, but it's for a meme livery. Very, very well done. In fact, it says Kovacs on it. Kovacs Cornflakes. Oh boy, I wonder how those taste. we go through the field towards the back of the McLaren. A lot of regular ACC liveries in this grid, must I say. Not that there is something wrong with that.
Yes, there is.
That's a beautiful Ravenel livery.
Livery
There's
makers
someone...
rejoice.
Livery makers rejoice. And that is the grid as
Don't fly into the power
we
line.
are out for formation lap. Breno Ellis will lead the pack around the track. Make sure you warm up those tires, warm up those brakes. Take a number 1 in the bottle next to you if you have one, because we're going to go race for an hour around the Hungaroring, the track where Lewis Hamilton back in 2021 started on his own on the grid, where Valtteri Bottas decided to go bowling, and where Fernando Alonso did that iconic defense to give his teammate his first ever Formula 1 win in the Alpine. So this track has a bit of history. I quite like it.
If we're gonna throw out, if we're gonna throw out anecdotes on what's happened in F1 at Hungaroring, I can go all the way back and remember 2007's qualification where Fernando Alonso purposely held up Lewis Hamilton in the pits in qualifying. And
was that at Hungaroring?
That was
I didn't even know it was in Hungaroring. That's interesting rivalry. In fact, talking about Fernando Alonso holding up Lewis Hamilton, we do have one McLaren here that is themed after those cars, ran by Rob Underwood, I'm pretty sure. So that is quite a nice fact, anecdote, as you call it, to put in there. But I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see these drivers go around turn 1. Hopefully they can keep it as clean as Split Yellow has kept it, but this is Split Blood after all. It's the first race of season 25. It's always hectic. Everyone's been sweating very hard on the first track. It always happens. So let's see if these drivers can at least keep it somewhat clean and have a good start.
Yeah, we shall see. I have to say, the bar has been set high by the iRacing split that we had last night at Adelaide. I really enjoyed that, maybe for the reasons of the track, and maybe I may or may not disenjoy this track as much in Hungaroring. I'm not too much looking forward to Portimao tomorrow in the ELMS. Obviously, we're just there with the WEC as around the final corners. It will be Breno Ellis in the Falcon-coloured BMW. Across from him will be Koala Atlas Motorsports, Kafil Slade, and then Francis Sam in the black McLaren, and Rob Underwood on his left, our left. But it will be 5 red lights as we wait, and we trundle along at 70 kilometers an hour, waiting for the green light. It's coming quite late, but it will be Breno Ellis from pole positioning, and they're off already. And there's a good jump from Breno Ellis. Is caught Kavil Slide there, maybe napping a little bit. As John Miller also trying to get up the inside in the pit lane, but Breno goes into the first corner. Oh, so close to Francis Sam, but Breno goes wide, and the Ferrari's going to come alongside Kafil, but they're going 4 wide in the background. The 2 Mustangs with Jack Miller and the Porsche on the left-hand side. Weberburn looks to back out of it smartly. Don't blame him whatsoever, but Jack Miller trying to hold it around the outside of Turabank in the Ford Mustang, and Turabank is round. The Mustang is gone. And unfortunately for Turab, that's going to be a horrible start, and he's going to fall back to the back of the field. But Jacob Weberburn all the way up into potentially P5 right now, as he does escape all that. Oh my goodness, what a crazy start. But I think Breno Ellis may have potentially managed to hold it from Kafil Slade. Yes, he has. And Francis Stam still there in P3 right now. So not much change at the front, but Jay coming up into P4. Rob Underwood lost a couple of positions as well as Richard. Oh, as Pete Chalmers climbs along the chicane there and does have to cut it. May have to give some of those positions back. Not too sure. We caught that last minute as Siam just behind him in the Ferrari. Oh, what a hectic start, Tim.
Oh, that was... You know what? It was a hectic start, but it was absolute cinema here from Split Red, and we've only had 1 casualty, unfortunately for Turab Bank. But apart from that, that was a beautiful cinematic start from Split Red. We had, like, what was it? 3 rows, one behind the other of 3 wide. I thought I was watching a NASCAR race here for a moment, but I'm proud of the boys. They kept it somewhat clean. They raced hard, but they raced mostly fair, and this is what we thrive for in OR, as Breno Ellis obviously takes the fastest lap, as he is currently in P1 for the first lap of the race. It's always going to be P1 taking the fastest lap, but let's hope that the boys here can, and girls, can keep it together as we have Jack Miller here. He almost hit the grass, Jack Miller, on the race start, so happy to see him keeping it together and currently sitting in P8, looking to get P7 from Carl Johnson. But if you've raced with Carl before or any of the Kovacs boys, you know that they're wide of a brick wall when it comes to trying to pass them. They defend really, really well. In fact, Pete Chalmers is an expert at defending. You can be as fast as you want, but trying to get around Pudley is another challenge in itself, as we do see Kafil going for an overtake, going side by side into the chicane. Can they keep it together? And they do, but Kafil Slade does contact Breno Ellis, and unfortunately for Slady here, he goes into a spin and he's going to lose multiple positions.
Oh, he had it up the inside, but he did clip the curb and kind of understeered it. Breno left him the space, and unfortunately just that front contact when the car is unloaded like that, it just went around like a spinning top. And unfortunately there for Kafil Slade, got to fall back all the way down to, I'm not even potentially sure where he's ended up as the timing board updates, but Breno Ellis, not too sure what happened there. Potentially you may have gone wide. I'm sure we'll get a replay thanks to Ben Hignett on the cams. There we go. All right, on command. So Breno is up ahead. He goes looking pretty good going into turn 5 right now, and just goes a little bit deep, and there's Kafil. He puts his nose up the inside, and Breno has to give him the space, and it should be all Kafil's way going, but Breno holds it around the outside. He has to leave him the space, and unfortunately the Ferrari just hitting the curb, hitting the understeer, and just goes for a spin, hitting off the BMW. Oh, and then he has to back up as well because he can't rejoin right into the field. That's sensible stuff, but oh, Kafil will be kicking himself for that one.
That was, he took a gamble going side, he took the opportunity, should I say. Breno did a pretty substantial mistake here around that first hairpin, or second hairpin. That's like 4 hairpins on this track. Took the advantage of Breno's mistake. They ended up going side by side, but unfortunately that chicane is, you can't really go side by side there. You can be as clean as you want, but it's just too narrow. A lot of people compare this track to Monaco. I don't know where they get it from. It is a narrow track, but I wouldn't call it Monaco narrow. But yeah, no, that was not the place to do it. But if people have raced before, you know, when there's an opportunity to take the lead of the race, you will take it. But unfortunately for Kafil, it ended up, well, I want to say ruining his race, but he's got the pace, he can make his way back up, but it's going to be a challenge to get back up to P1 with how fast Breno Ellis is known to be.
Yeah, I think a chance at the win is maybe gone. Not too sure where he can get back up to. We got a replay at the start here, so you can see it was a good jump from Breno, but behind him it was all happening right now. Francis Sam almost had a little look at Kafil Slade there. Underwood, as Weberburn got a hit there, I'm not too sure by whom, but it ultimately ended up with this 4 wide with the Porsche and the McLaren on either side. Jack Miller and I believe Zach Jensen in the Porsche on the inside. The Mustang breaks late of Turab Bank now, so it's seeing going along, and he gets a hit from Zach Jensen in the Porsche. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Turab, and I think that's going to be a pretty slam dunk for Mr. Zach Jensen in the Porsche now. But we go back to live pictures right now. Rob Underwood in P4 with the BMW just up ahead. Richo just behind him, keeping up as well with these guys. Is a silver driver, not an AM driver, just to reconfirm that one right now. But we're seeing how things go. Obviously Gallagher as well, also in the silver car, who's currently P10 and still doing a very good job right now. But pretty close battle for everything below the leader, unfortunately. I think Breno Ellis is probably going to run away with this one pretty quickly. And Zach Jensen, 15-second penalty. I think we know what that was for.
Correction, Mr. Cam. That is Zach Warren, not Zach Jensen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Poor Jensen.
Sorry, Zach Warren.
He's catching strays and he's not even racing.
It's a Zach, and the surname ends with an E and an N. What do you want from me?
It's so good. It's so good. As we're on board with Lee Perkins here, chasing down Pete Viney. Beautiful colored Kodak livery that he's made for Kovacs. Kodak Kovacs. He's the one that I was wondering who was running this livery. It's Perkins running this livery. I absolutely love it. Obviously, it's old cartoon theme, but it's very, very well done. And now we're looking back at the McLaren of Underwood, now under pressure from Richo. Underwood currently sitting in P4, right up the front as expected, but he had a pretty good season last season, as Breno Ellis really starting to step on the pedal now with a 143.385. He is not standing around and waiting, but as we can see, Richo trying to force a mistake from Underwood. He really wants to get around him, as we're into a three-way battle now between Kafil, Slade, Bartoletti, and Barker. Barker, another one of those really cool drivers. Surprised he's actually that far down. Usually he's quite far up top on the grid. But currently he is sitting P13, so perhaps not enough practice, perhaps. You know what? That's another Ferrari driver driving a BMW, I noticed. I don't know why all the Ferrari drivers that I know now are driving BMWs. I guess it's the new thing, really.
Yeah, sure. I'm making a Ferrari livery for the first time last night, and it's just it's just making me disdain that car even more. Absolutely awful template, I have to say. But yeah, kind of nice to see some BMWs, because it really hasn't been that popular of late in ACC. I think it's tended to have the bop hammer thrown at it quite hard lately. Maybe it's kind of comeback things. I will say, we were seeing just before Kafil had his moment with Breno Ellis, we watched the onboard coming onto the back straight, and the BMW just walked away on the exit. It was quite depressing, I have to say, if I was any car behind. And I will say Kafil is going to be in a really tough fight just to try and get past some of those quick cars on the straight as well. Bartoletti in the Lexus, and it seems like the BMW is no slouch either. Even if he gets those two, there's two more Lexuses in front of him. John Gormley, P12. I'm sorry. Can we talk about that?
I'm gonna talk about my boy John Gormley. He has been putting the practice egg. I've been scolding him because, you know, he has the pace. Mr. Gormley, he has the pace, except he doesn't practice much, and he used to suffer from a consistency issue, and that's what I've been telling him. Just focus on consistency. I don't care if you can do a 42 one lap. If you bend the car the next lap, your 42 is for nothing. I'd rather he do 43s, 44s, but keep it on track, and he's been doing really well. He did really well in duos. I forgot what position he ended in, but he was quite far up the grid, if I remember correctly. Him and Xavier. But he's been making me proud. I feel like a proud dad, even though he's older than me. He's more like a brother to me, Mr. Gormley. We go far back. We go really, really far back, actually, and it brings a tear to my eye seeing him do well. And yeah, I'm really happy for him, and I hope he can bring the experience. And as I say that,
Tim.
I'm sorry.
Tim.
I am so sorry.
Tim.
I apologize. Oh, Gormley. No.
Oh god. Oh, he doesn't get sent on at least. No.
Not again, please. Oh, we need a replay of that. Oh,
That's alright. That didn't happen. It's a 10-minute race.
It's over. Just call it now. It's all right. He'll fight his way back up, Mr. Gormley. He's not been having fun on this track.
As Mine Brundle famously said one time, I haven't been this disappointed since Shrek 2.
I just saw what happened.
Let's wait. Let's wait until the viewers can see.
We'll wait till the viewers can see that. It's not even his fault. It is not even John Gormley's fault. In fact, I think we're on board. I think that is Barker. Gormley goes a bit wide, bit of a mistake, and unfortunately, Barker takes him out. Full on GSP pit maneuver right there. I don't know what to say to that. That is extremely unlucky for John Gormley, but I expect Barker will get a bit of a slap on the wrist for that one, as that was not Gormley's fault. But I'm not a steward. I'm not the one to make these decisions. But we're back with Rob Underwood into the silver McLaren, a chrome McLaren, should I say. And still sitting P4, still under pressure from Richo, but not succumbing to it just yet. Keeping his own, just driving his own race, as we do get another replay here around turn 1, as we have a Ferrari spinning, and the other Ferrari decided to give it a little kiss. That looks like someone trying to send it a bit too hard. But play on, as we're with Luca Giacomin now in still in P3, looking to hunt down P2, and that is P2 right in front of them. That is Sam. As we're on board with Kafil Slade now, back up to P13. I'm not sure what position. I think it was in the 20s or something, Kafil. After he got back on track, but now he's hunting down Barker. He does have a 5-second penalty for what I assume is that contact with Brano Ellis. But now as they go around,
I think that was a play on. It was
yeah,
self-penalizing.
Yeah, self-penalizing.
It wasn't like he dived up there, to be fair. We're going to jump back to Jack Miller, just still on the heels of Carlos Johnson, and just getting away. I've got the feeling I'm very interested to see how Carl does in the Lexus, because he's not afraid from a bit of jandal. But the Lexus will, you know, the Lexus is not going to be one of those cars that just hits the anchors on the TC and doesn't let you slide. It will slide if you prod it hard enough. And I'll be interested to see how he holds up on those rear tyres. Although we haven't really covered it as well. The format for tonight's race is obviously a 60-minute race for about 14 minutes in. It is a mandatory one stop, as you can see on the timing tower with the orange dots. And it is fixed fuel, so 25 seconds for fuel. What did you see, Gubby? What did you see? What were you explaining?
Carlos just got a bit slidey there out of the chicane. It's funny, the Lexus is actually not too good up on the chicane on this track. So the Ferrari's pretty good around it, but the Lexus actually struggles a bit. It gets quite bouncy, which is funny because normally the Lexus is quite good over bumps. But yeah, as you said, it's pretty easy to slide the Lexus. It's not a rocket the way people think it is. It's good down a straight, but that is if you have a long straight. So let's see, a track like Paul Ricard, the Nordschleife, down Dottinger. It's very good down those straights because they're very long straights and it can really stretch its legs. But on a track like this, it actually doesn't have that much bottom end power compared to your Nissans or your Fords. So it's not the...
As Weber sends it up the inside, is he going to get it stopped? Oh, he gets a hit from the Porsche as Jack Miller reclaims his position. I was going to say those two going too wide through the last chicane, as Zach Warren, I should say, instead of Jensen, was trying to make the move on Jack Miller, and subsequently has lost out of position and all that. But Weberburn tried to make it the double overtake, but couldn't get it stopped. Coming in a little bit hot, but did at least get one position, and he does get ahead at least a car with the penalty as well, and just gonna get away with that one. So that was tricky as well. I can see why Zach still gonna call him Zach Jensen. Sorry, Biggie Hugs, I know you're in the chat as well.
Still catching strays.
Still catching strays.
Biggie confirmed.
Yeah, busted. You got me.
We're back with Giacomo. Yeah, the gap between him and the McLaren have been pretty equal so far. In fact, those four cars just been keeping really equal gap. Obviously, it's only been just over 15 minutes through the race. So there's still a lot of racing to go here. Look, like these guys are really just driving their own races. Really, now I need to see what kind of strategy everyone is doing as well. But I'm expecting most of these drivers to just do a 50-50 and probably the odd tire change here and there because this track is pretty unforgiving when it comes to tires. So we do get another yellow flag there at the back of the track. You can see the gap between P2 and P1 now at 8 seconds. In fact, Brano Ellis could go in the pits and take tires if he wanted to and still come out up front. That's how far front he is from P2. So that's always a good position to be in.
Yeah, and I think most people will try and take tires. If you don't, the risk to not take tires is pretty tough because, as I said, this track is pretty hard on tires. Come the end, it's only 5 seconds extra, obviously, for tires because of the mandatory 25 seconds for whatever fuel you put in the car. And obviously, people probably running the 50-50, the fuel limit, run as little as you need. And obviously probably going to see people coming to the pits in about 10 minutes time. So you get the feeling Luca Giacomo is winding himself up for a move. We're going to replay here. So this is Zach Warren in the blue Porsche, just going wide at turn 1, and the Aston Martin up the inside. I'm not too sure who that is right now. No livery on that car, but not able to get it into the run down to turn 2. But is he going to send it up? Yes, he does, into turn 2, and he makes contact with the blue Porsche. There's a little bit unnecessary, but is going to get up the inside and get past the car as well. It might... I get the feeling that one might go to the stewards as well, because he kind of Zach Warren left him room. He left him the room, and Craig Gallagher did come steaming on through and make contact.
Yeah, that was naughty from the Aston. I would say that is what people call a bump pass. So I'm expecting a penalty, but if it's a bump pass, it might not be a massive penalty. It might just be 5 seconds, but the fact that they may get a 5-second penalty from that means that now you're wondering if you want to take tires or not, because you have to serve your penalties in the pit. So someone like Zach Warren, 15-second penalty, they're not gonna take tires. They've already got to spend an extra 15 seconds, so that'd be what, 40 seconds in the pits, just because of that 15-second penalty, because it is 25 seconds for fuel, 30 seconds if you take tires, and obviously with the 15-second penalty, it would be, if they take tires with that penalty, it'd be a 45-second pit stop. So that hurts a little bit in the pits, especially with how close some of these guys are to each other. If you look at the track map, the field's not really spreading out too much. There's a couple back markers here and there, but those are usually the guys that got into some kind of incident. But most of the field is pretty condensed, and after you've got, yeah, Breno Ellis just gone in the distance, and then you got a couple cars. We got the number 5 in the pits. Who is that in the number 5? I don't know who that is. I can't see their name on the leaderboard. I'm not familiar with everyone's numbers either. There's a lot of new names for me personally, as I've not been here for a few months. Ah, it's Iman. So he's gone to the pits pretty early, actually. So wondering what the strat is here. As we're back with Luca Giacomo, and still not closing that gap with the McLaren and not pulling away from Rob Underwood. So these guys are just having a leisurely drive. They're not fighting. I saw Giacomo try to maybe force a little mistake here and there, but nothing overly aggressive. Just letting the driver behind though. You know, I'm still here. You know, if you want to go wide or something and just open the door for me, I'll be more than happy to take it. As we're back with the battles, Jack Miller goes a little bit deep here and doesn't get the best of exits, and that's not what you want, especially when it's a Ford behind you. I know the Ford's pretty menacing when you see it in your rearview mirror, and I'm starting to wonder if Jack Miller's driving in his mirrors. But as I say that, the Lexus does a mistake and they bump a little bit. Carl Johnson not wanting to give Jack Miller the position, and now they're going into dangerous territory here. That next corner is a very high-speed corner. You do not want to go too wide for this corner. It always ends in disaster. That Ford does go a little bit wide, and I assume would have gone the track limit here. But Jack Miller really wants to get past Carl Johnson, because now they're also feeling the pressure from Weatherburn. Again, very deep for the chicane, and that's not what you want to do when you've got a wild Yoda behind you. Yoda wants to get through, but the track is just too narrow, and Jack Miller holding on for his dear life to keep that Ford in check.
Yeah, that one's we saw, Jack really kind of hard on the brakes into that corner, maybe caught Yoda out a little bit, but yeah, that little contact on the exit of turn 2, that was obviously the Lexus went a little bit wide, and I was worried that maybe Jack Miller may have probably called his number due to that little bit of contact, as they did kind of meet in the middle somewhat, as Jack needs to get his little handle on the brakes a little bit, because he's struggling. Not the best car on the brakes. I remember the McLaren, and to be honest, the Lexus is not too great either. Not too sure about the Ford. I think it's actually not too bad. It's pretty
good.
Decent car. Yep.
Very
car,
good.
Good brakes. Shock.
Shock.
But yeah, Lexus and McLaren not the best cars under the brakes, having driven them. They do require quite a lot of a little bit of a modulation. You can't just run them to the floor for the whole way. So look to try and close this gap back up a little bit as well. It's kind of a little bit like the group we have for P2. I think the McLarens are generally a little bit quicker, but those few odd mistakes kind of bring it back in line. Because especially we watch on board now, we're going to see Francis Sam, especially through this next sector, the McLaren. I've driven it once, and it was at Hungaroring, and it's really nice through these corners. When you have a car with actual like proper downforce, and you're not having to just rely on the tire, it's like you can just sweep back and forth. It's a lovely set of corners when the car is ideally built for these kind of track conditions.
I absolutely agree with you. And then you look at a car like the Lexus, the Fords, to an extent the BMWs, where you need these flowing mid to high speed corners. They're not the biggest fans of that, I will say so. They just feel the Ford, especially. I've only really driven the Ford here. Oh, actually, and the Ferrari back in Academy. The Ford is just a lazy car around corners like that. But obviously, it makes up for it in other parts of the track. Unfortunately, it's restricted. Well, there's a bit of contact there on the final corner. Be careful, Jack Miller. There is a Lexus there in front of you. And Carl Johnson manages to catch it. So Jack Miller really getting impatient. He has built a gap to Wedderburn, and that is because Wedderburn has gone into the pits. So I'm wondering if he's trying to do an overcut or undercut. If you pit first, overcut? Undercut. I always get them confused. So if you pit after, it's an overcut. If you pit before, it's an undercut. Thank you very much, Cam, as not very smart.
Nah. It's okay. I mean, it's not like you work in, around racing series.
Nah!
I don't work with not a strategist.
Yeah, I'm a mechanic. Yeah, I'm not the strategist. I don't work with that. Oh, nice drift. Oh, that is beautiful. That is a beautiful view. That was cinematic. I will admit, that was cinematic. It reminds me of these drift events where they have got the drones behind the cars and the cars drifting. Like, it's really cool. That was very cinematic. Thankfully, it did not end in disaster. As Wedderburn now gets out the pits, I'm wondering if he took new tires, but we'll see. Will Jack Miller react to the pit stop of Wedderburn, or will he decide to stay stuck behind the Lexus of Carl Johnston? As we now go to another battle, Rob Underwood has really closed the gap on Giacomo now, and now he wants to try and figure a way to get around the big BMW, wondering if one of them will go in the pits, and that will be no, as they go around the final corner once again. What can the McLaren driver do here against the new BMW driver? See if the straight's just not really long enough to take advantage of a slipstream. It looks like Jack Miller and Carl Johnson deciding to stay out and could end up biting him once he goes in the pits, because I'm wondering where Wedderburn is. Where is Wedderburn for all this chaos? Wedderburn is currently somewhere at the back. I forgot his number already. So we do get a replay here, and that is a replay of Underwood, and it's looking like Giacomin goes a bit wide there, and Underwood gets the run. Giacomin defends the inside, forces Underwood to take the outside line, and pushes him very wide. That I would call that on the very limits, but Underwood was still technically within track limits. So play on. As we're back to this very intense bout. In fact, Zach Warren starting to get involved here. Looking like Carl Johnston perhaps holding them up a little bit. And this is just very beneficial to someone like Wedderburn, because once they go in the pits, there's a very high possibility Wedderburn will jump to both of them, but we will see. We will not know until they get in the pits, but I will not be surprised if they decide to come in within the next few laps.
Yeah, they're getting on board right now, and I think I'm not too sure where Wedderburn is. Kind of just shows with that move as well, like the McLaren struggling to get past the BMW, even with that mistake. It's very hard to get a move done here. Kind of got away with it, did Giacomin. So these two are all still backed up very close, and looks like the Richo has come into the box in P5, Matt Richo. As these guys continue along. And unfortunately, the McLaren got nothing for the Lexus down the straight, as much as he keeps it close out of the last corner, and absolutely nothing to make a move. It's very hard to get a move done, and arguably that's where the the power cars are actually probably the few cars that can really get a move done. But you can see like Carl just running wide there on the exit, probably not feeling the best of the tires. Jack having a look to the inside, just trying to make the Lexus defend fresh air, but Carlos is wise to it and gets it stopped nicely for the corner. So I'm not going to leave any door open right now. And again, they got Zach Warren just behind them. Granted, he's got the 15-second penalty, but it doesn't mean he can't affect their race right now. He's not obliged to not pass. He's free to still race despite the penalty. So Carlos, I imagine, will be taking tires in the Lexus because they really don't feel too great after a while, especially a track like this where you are pretty much reliant on the mechanical grip of the tire rather than the aero due to the lack of it. Oh, as the Porsche goes sliding through the chicane, manages to get it all back up, but get away with it. Gonna lose a little bit of time. Gonna stop distracting Jack Miller for a few lap or so. But as you see, they're still following around the Lexus right now. Let's see if anyone comes into the box right now. A few cars in yellow. Brendan Ellis still running away. 12 seconds to the good to Francis Sam right now. And see where Capfield Slater's. Not too sure where Slater. I kind of feeling Slater's probably already come into the box and got his stop done quite early to just get out of the traffic, I imagine, because despite the field is quite still compacted around. There's see a few cars. Someone returned to the pits just then. I don't think anyone has come into the pits on this particular lap as Jack Miller and Carlos still go around this lap. We get to see it. Oh, Zach Warren came in. So on board, I think this is Leigh Perkins in the Nissan. And he gets past a blue flag car who didn't judge it very well and decides to send him into a spin into the chicane. That's not going to be a very favourable viewing from the stewards, that one, whoever that blue flag was.
Yeah, no, that was naughty. And I'm sure Perkins would not have been too pleased about that one.
I think it was McLeod in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, that was not good, especially if you know there's a car coming up on you. They're right there. You've got a radar for a reason. Please use it. And we're back with Pete Viney currently in P11. Under pressure from Mateen, however. Mateen in the big, powerful GTR. But he's been managing to keep it behind us. He goes very wide, and Mateen takes the opportunity to try and go side by side, just showing his nose, forcing the Porsche a bit wide, and they do contact here. And I've been in this place before.
After you.
And Mateen, being the gentleman that he is, lets the Porsche back through. Unfortunately, I would think the stewards are still going to give him a slap on the wrist, but at least he's shown good sportsmanship. He did not mean to do it. So I respect him for that. I respect you, Mateen, for being a gentleman and accepting your mistake. As we're back onto that ongoing battle that's been going on the whole race between Jack Miller and Carl Johnson, as we now have a replay of a McLaren and a BMW. BMW looking on the inside. That is Giacomin looking down the inside, and it's looking like he does make the move stick. Very, very clean move from Giacomin here. And does manage to take P2 from Sam, and in fact Underwood also manages to pass. It's because Sam is back in the decided, you know what, it's time to go in the pits and get a new pair of boots perhaps.
Yeah, I get the feeling he probably made a bit of an error in the last couple of corners, and the BMW Giacomo stuck with him, and we have seen that BMW have quite a bit more grunt as well over the McLaren. And just invited that reason. It can be done down the straight, but it kind of does rely on a mistake, and if you've got a few extra ponies in your car, it can be done. But it was a good move from Jacob, and sent it up the inside and got it nicely stopped as Jack Miller's still all over the back. I'm surprised Jack Miller hasn't considered the undercut right now, but I get the feeling Carlos will probably just cover him the next lap.
Oh, Sam with an SG30!
Oh, Francis Sam, the Pro-Am badge. We thought it was probably going to change after this round, but I think that's probably going to, as a result, is really not going to reflect his race. There's a clear speeding into the pit lane. Oh, that is going to send him way, way back.
Yeah, no, that is painful because you're basically taking another pit stop with tires, except you're not doing a pit stop and you're not getting a fresh pair of boots. You're standing still for 30 seconds, and that means he substantially sped in the pit lane. Now, I'm not sure if he sped on the exit, but I'd like to assume he sped on the entry, and he must have gone over 10 kilometers an hour quicker, as we do get a replay here of the pit entry. He goes very wide at the wall! I think he tapped the wall with his rear a little bit, but nothing too dramatic. But now, he's in second gear. Oh, he's gone too quick.
He crossed it at 70.
Yeah, so that's a big slap from our virtual stewards, let's call them, you know, our pit lane police, slapping him with the SG30. That is extremely rough and extremely painful. As we're now on another three-way battle. This the field now really starting to spread out because of the pit stops. As we're on board with Farrell Zava. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. And as Kafil Slade there, make a move down the inside. I think that is that blue flag Aston, actually. And Farrell does go in the pits. And Kafil Slade opting to stay out. And that is because he has already pitted, apparently. So, not sure if he served. Did he get another 5-second penalty, perhaps? Because I swear he got...
I think he boxed quite early, to be honest, because I think he was caught up in the traffic, so he got the penalty afterwards as Carlos comes out just in front of him. So that's going to be very interesting once Jack Miller does his stop. And curious to wonder if Carlos has actually done his tyres. It's kind of hard to tell. We have to do a bit of guesswork from the commentary as to whether, because a lot of people did come in, Underwood and Miller. Be interested to see what those can do. I've got a bit of fresh air if they've got any tyre life still in them. Let's say that though, as Underwood has come straight into the box. Thank you very much to Ben in the small picture view right now, doing a good job. And looks like, yeah, Jack Miller's in as well, so it looks interesting. Breno seems to be going long out of all the leaders right now. Granted, he's had a little bit of race to himself other than the first couple of laps, that's for sure. But Carlos and Jack Miller, I'm really curious who's going to come out. Whereas Carlos goes very wide and has a big slide. And Carlos Slade is going to be right all over the back of him. And he's seen that mistake, and it just energizes you more to try and put that car under pressure right now. But going along just, and we'll see what Kafil can do and whether this is going to impact. Oh, he's got so much more pace, so much more confidence and speed through those corners. I'm sure the tires are still coming up as well for Carl Johnson, but coming into the last couple of corners a little bit deep there from Slade. There wasn't really going to be anywhere to go as they run into the final two hairpins, turn 13 and turn 14 right now. We're seeing the small view right now, the side and McLaren. Oh, that's very wide from Carlos, and he's going to go wide. And there's contact between him and the Ferrari again, rubbing shoulders with everyone. Oh, as Craig Gallagher has to suddenly back out of it as Kafil rejoins the racing line. Jack Miller is rolling again, and I'm not too sure if he's going to get there. There he is. You can see him in the picture. So either a really bad pit stop or a really bad lap there for Jack Miller. Well, these guys didn't take tires. Oh, it could be. I'm not too sure.
I think Jack Miller has taken tires, and I think Carlos opted not to, because he's very far back. Even then, he's extremely far back.
He's behind.
At the same time, 5 seconds does feel like quite a long time as well. But I'm wondering if he had a bit of a mistake in his pit box, completely perhaps missed his pit box. But he's very, very far back from these guys, even if he did take tires. But we'll have to see, as we're with Richo currently sitting actually in P3. In fact, P2 once Pete Viney decides to go for his stop. So that is a solid effort from Richo. Breno Ellis in the pits. It's not a bad shout on this track because it's hard to make a move. So if you don't take tires, it's gonna be a bit painful. But if you know what you're doing, you can keep the car behind you unless it's a power car, and perhaps down the straight they'll be able to get you. But if you know what you're doing, if you're smooth on your inputs, even being smooth on the inputs, and Pit Viney does end up pitting. And let's see where he comes out, but let's see where Richo ends up. Richo should be in P2 by the time he crosses the start-finish line.
Sorry, go
on. We do have a replay here of Jack Miller. So let's see what's happened here. So he's stationary and he's...
No, he started back up.
The engine. He's had engine. He's not close enough.
Oh dear, that's ruined it.
Yeah, he's...
back again. Oh dear. Just the simplest of things.
Who gave Jack Miller the Ferrari pit crew, huh? Oh, that is heartbreaking for Miller. I was actually really looking forward for that battle between him, Weatherburn, and Carlos, because that was very entertaining. A bit of door bumping left here and there, but nothing dramatic. It's okay to rub cars, rub panels, rub each other. No. As we're now looking at the battle between Carl Johnson and Kafil Slade.
Don't take tires. You can really keep the guys behind Tim Gobe 2026. It's really going to work out at this rate with 22 minutes to go. I'm not saying it can't be done, but if you're already struggling before the stop, I don't think it's going to help things. And yes, we did see that in chat as well. Yeah, McLeod did comment, and yeah, he said the radar is clear, but the problem is there's a corner there, and that car has to brake through the corner. So if you're just going to go into it at normal speed, then that tends to be what's going to happen. Don't rely on the spotter when you can see out the window.
Back, Kafil, he's fast, but he's not going around Yoda Weatherbird. So we'll see. Give me one.
Get the feeling Kafil probably didn't take tires either, and obviously doing as much as he can to get himself back up the grid after that early spin. And even if he does get past Carl, he's got to displace him by 5 seconds as well. Hopefully he doesn't have to worry too much about Gallagher, considering he's got the same penalty as Lucas Giacomin, catching up to the back of Matt Richo. As do you get the feeling Matt Richo did not take tires. How he was able to jump him and Underwood in the pit stop. He did box a little bit earlier, but considering the gap he had to at least the BMW, he definitely didn't take tires, I imagine. Let's see if he can keep those in check. And generally, sometimes with the cars with more downforce, you can tend to preserve the tire a bit better because you're not leaning on it as much. But that's sometimes a tendency to lean on a tire more if you've got the downforce as well. So it's not always a solid routine. But let's jump back down. Kafil Slade still over the back and got a good run, but the thing is, Alexis is just going to pull away on any bit of a straight right now, so he's really going to have to rely on a mistake as he looks like he has to avoid the back of the Lexus almost coming into turn 12 right now. He can get the best run he wants through these hairpins, but unfortunately really not going to be able to get past the Lexus, and the Lexus is still getting its power down nicely. We'll see how he goes on the exit. And to be fair, as I said, we don't know for sure if these guys did take tires or not. I would suspect maybe not. Maybe Carlos just doing his enthusiasm on the tires as he always usually does. I'm not expecting Kafil to have maybe taken tires, given that he had to recover his positions, and considering he boxed quite early as well, no point taking them that early. You didn't really get the best of your previous ones.
I'm telling you, these Kovacs boys, they're a brick wall when you want to get around them. They make their cars as wide as the track is, and it's just impossible to pass them. That's just the reality being stuck behind one of them. It's just, I want to say impossible to pass. Obviously, nothing's impossible, but it's not the kind of driver you want to be stuck behind. I'll just put it that way with the Kovacs boys. They're really, really, really good at defending. It's frustrating when you're behind one of them. But hey, everyone's got their strengths. As we're now in a battle for P2 between Giacomin and Richo. Richo's just been driving a fantastic race, and he's sitting P2 right now. Now, can he hold on to P2? There is 19 minutes left to this race, and Giacomin really starting to put the pressure, and Breno Ellis does set the new fastest lap of the race with a 43.080. So I'd like to assume, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'd like to assume Mr. Ellis there has decided to take a new pair of boots.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me too much considering he had the gap, and it just means it kind of less chance of a mistake. as these guys are fine. Darrell Lim actually got Zach Warren behind him after he served that penalty, and Jack Miller as well, all the way back here in P11 right now, due to that kind of botched pit stop. So that's really, really ruined his race. He's kind of would been in the chance for being that sort of fighting for that top 6 right now. But these guys all over the back of the Lexus, but the Lexus guns its loins and pulls away down the straight. Let's see how it gets into the braking zone. Darrell Lim, not a slow driver either. Been kind of running the McLaren for the last season as well. Was very quick in that. Probably would have wished he was in a McLaren for this, at least this track. But obviously, I believe we got no car changes for this season, and Lexus going strong right now. To be fair, I gave him a bit of hassle while he was in his McLaren in a Lexus, so maybe he's taking a leaf out of that. But very wide there, catching a lot of curb. And I'm quite surprised no one's actually gotten the track limits yet. I'm not too sure what the. I remember I thought they were a little bit, brutal around Hungaroring, but there's clearly a lot of people going wide at some corners. Maybe I've been driving LMU too much, and seeing every going past the line is just enough to get you a track limit in that game.
Yeah, very lenient here, I will say. But, let's say Darrell Lim wishing he'll be a McLaren. Trust me, once he gets to Paul Ricard, because that's the only race that matters, right, for real, he's going to be glad he's in a Lexus. That car is absolutely hilarious there. Proper race car, Paul Ricard. Obviously, we get the long Mistral straight in ACC, and in fact, we get it in LMU as well now. So that'd be interesting as Zach Warren goes for a move down the inside, and Jack Miller taking the opportunity to even perhaps try to jump to both of them. But now he's going to be on the outside, and see if he can get the outside work. We've seen drivers make it work in the past. Unfortunately, he does not get the next position, but he does manage to get past Darrell Lim. So unfortunately for Darrell, he's lost 2 positions there, and Jack Miller just taking the opportunities where he can get them. Manages to jump a car because of the other car racing said car. Now let's see what happens here as they go into turn 1. Darrell Lim responds, and they go very, very tight there, but nothing super dramatic, and they're going to have to be careful because there's other cars behind. Now Jack Miller is in trouble from Pudley. What his name? Pete Chalmers. There you go. I was trying to call him Pete Viney this entire time, but I knew it wasn't Viney. It is Chalmers, and Chalmers now on the attack on Jack Miller. We've got a proper battle pack going on right now, as we do have a common Pete. Yeah. Oh, where's Richo?
Richo. He's parked up on the exit of turn 3. As they got Luca Giacomin, goes up the inside, sends it from afar, up the inside into turn 1. This looks all good so far. Room given on the exit as well. The McLaren is still there as they run now down into P2. And it's going to be pretty tricky for the McLaren to get back up the inside, but he's still there. It's all so close. Room given both ways. A little bit of a bang on the door on the outside. And we're coming now into, hardware failure. I think there is. Something's gone wrong as he basically just didn't turn out from the exit of turn 2 and coming into turn 3. That's a rotten bit of luck for Richo right now. That would have been a potential podium, but unfortunately looked like result in a DNF as he's still in the pits right now.
It's weird. I wonder, right? If it was, I don't know if that disables your steering completely. I know some wheelbases have sensors where if you hit, let's say you hit a wall at 200 miles an hour, it'll actually temporarily disable the wheel, so you don't break your wrist. Because these direct. Oh my God, Carl Johnson, another contender for GSP right there. Absolutely takes out Weatherburn, and I don't think Yoda's going to be too happy about that one. So I wonder if they're going to have a bit of a talk with each other there. But that was a full-on pit maneuver.
Disconnects, as he said in the chat. Oh, Matt Richo. We got a replay here now, but we see Carl Johnson running alongside Weber, and
oh, that's a bit awkward, actually. When you look from the onboard, you know what? When you look from the onboard, it actually looks quite a bit awkward. It looks like Weatherburn just wanted to go a bit wider to get a better entry into the corner. But the Lexus
as well.
Lexus was right there as Breno does a 42.9. Couldn't get the 42 in quali, but that's okay. We'll get the 42 in the race. There you go, 42.9 for Mr. Ellis, as Carl Johnson now goes side by side again with Kafil Slade. He's not over. He wants his position back. From Slady. Slady trying to push him. Oh, and they
we're getting into contact with everyone right now. Oh dear. Oh,
this is the
careful with
split red. I remember. Everyone's getting a bit heated now. Everyone's getting frustrated. The race is 13 minutes of racing to go, and now everyone's really starting to barge forward.
It escalates. It really escalates when you follow a car for so long. Yeah, everyone gets. Everyone's no quarter given. So on board right now with Alexis and already straddling. Yeah, this looks familiar from me last season. Yeah, sideways, and Ferrari goes up the inside, and he's going to be a side by side for a long battle and. Looks pretty good. I think Kafil just went a little bit wide on the exit here as the Lexus gets a better run. Kafil goes to defend the inside, but the Lexus has got such a good run. He's going to draw completely onside. They bang all the way in before the corner, and the Lexus holds around the outside. Kafil's trying to close the door on him. I'm not too sure if there is an overlap there, and as they both, I think Carlos wasn't going to give it up. He didn't appreciate being muscled out the way he did, and kept it up the inside into the corner. Again, hard to know if the overlap was there. I get the feeling they probably still was, considering they're making contact before they even went for that spin. But yeah, I don't know what to say to her. Do not want to
grab some drinks for the stewards. They need it.
Yep. Enjoy, stewards.
I wonder if Daniel Clark is in the steward box for this race. He's also my boy. Love you, Daniel. Yeah, our boy. He's fantastic lad, Daniel. But I hope he does. I wonder what they're actually feeling there in the steward box.
The biggest smack talker.
I bet they're at the start like, oh look, it's a clean split red race. That's nothing too dramatic here. Penalty here, penalty there. It's okay. Nah, it's starting to really unfold now, and these drivers getting frustrated. I'm also wondering if perhaps fatigue is playing a bit of a part of it. It is pretty late for the Aussie boys, and if there's a couple boys from New Zealand. Just when you're following a car, this close for a long period of time, it does get quite mentally tiring. So no, I'm not one to judge. That's not my job.
Not on commentary, at least.
Not on commentary. No. It's still entertaining. It's good entertainment for us, for the viewers. It's not entertaining for the guys driving. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. I think some people are having fun out there. Maybe BMWs and P1B2 right now. And I dare say Mr. Rob Underwood. My heart goes out to you, Matt Richer, as well. I know you got the AM badge, but you're a silver. But considering you're one of the pretty new to OOR, I believe, or at least new to sprints, you've done a very good job to show what you're capable of. And unfortunately, the result is not going to reflect that. VR strikes again. There's another reason why I've never tried VR. I already get hot enough with a headset on my head. I don't need something else in it.
Amazing immersion. I see why they do it. It actually feels like you're in the car. Watching
I don't think it makes you more aware though sometimes, because I think some people with VR are, let's say, getting a few contacts.
Yeah, probably not, but it's just so immersive. I don't know how to explain it, because you can watch videos of it, but it still doesn't look the same as if you were wearing the headset per se. It actually feels like you're in a race car. It's a bit freaky at first. It's.
I'd like it if I did drifting, because you end up looking out to the side anyway half the time.
Even for me, it's more of an immersion thing. I don't think I would do it for league racing, because I want to be competitive. I mean, I'm not saying you can't be competitive with VR. You can absolutely be competitive with VR. I feel like if I was league racing.
Such a sweat. I bet you played this game in 4x3 as well. You're that much of a sweater.
No, not quite. I'm not quite at that level, right? This is not CS:GO. But I digress. We're back in a battle for P10, and that is between Pete Chalmers and I didn't realize Bartoletti was in the Lexus. I thought he was in the Aston. But turns out he's been in a Lexus this whole time, so good to see that as well. But he's really putting the pressure on.
Carl living his best life in his IRL car right now. Carl, I really hope you don't get into as many dings as you did in real life in your Lexus or Toyota.
Fancy Toyota. Fancy Toyota. As we do get another race between A Ford. That is a Ford
Oh,
of
it's Tarab.
Tarab, and the BMW of that green strip, even in the dry, does get quite slippery, and that Ford has a lot of torque.
Can we talk about Tarab Bank up into P13 despite being last after turn 2?
He's having a fantastic race. I'm not saying it. He did not have a fantastic starter, and he's got a DT. Oh, why did
I
you
opened
mention
my
his
mouth.
name? You mention his name just
Look,
one
if
time.
Ibram had a good race, it
One
means Tarab
time.
has to have a bad race.
ACC is against Tarab.
Look, it's still not as bad as what you did to your boy, your John.
My brother John Gormley.
The man who's about to make you Ung status in soon.
I mean, yes, and the man who's about to forget about me because he's about to have his baby. Well, I mean, he's not about to have his baby. He's still a few months out. But yep, if you didn't know, John Gormley's about to have a baby. I'm really proud of him. But I do not want to mention his name anymore because he's already had enough bad luck as it is. In fact, I still think he had a fantastic race. He did get a 15-second penalty. I wonder what for. He's currently sitting in P23, but that was really unfortunate for him with that incident between him and Barker. But we're now back looking at Pete Chalmers, still holding off Bartoletti. Still doing Kovacs things, just defending like a lion. In fact, I think out of all the Kovacs boys, I think it's between him and Carl. Which one is the hardest to get by? But he's also trying to get around.
Easy to pass, just have a bigger engine.
Just be on Paul Ricard. That's all you need.
I don't think I've ever raced any of these guys because I don't race the late split that way. Maybe it'll come to LMU. Where
let me tell you, I've raced these guys for over a year now. Still as frustrating as it was the first time. They race really hard. It's extremely frustrating. And
yeah, I think me and Carl have had a few moments in many old seasons. I think season 8 we had a few ding-dongs.
Yeah, me and Pudley have had a few ding-dongs as well. I can confirm you that. I'd like to say we're around the same pace. Oh my god! It's really close. Bartoletti getting impatient, but he's in the Lexus. It's not the longest straight, but is it enough for the Lexus? He is going up against the Porsche after all. Can he make the move stick? He's catching up, just not quite enough, but is it enough to make a send on the inside? It is enough to make a... Oh, he was completely off track, and... Bartoletti! Lexus brakes aren't that good, buddy. But Daryl M now in trouble from the Porsche. Now the Porsche is good in this section, but Pudley getting a bit slidey there and wondering if Barker's now is going to get involved. It's really turning into a four-way battle. It's like all these battles we've been looking at, it's just these very close, very tight, hectic four-way, three-way, five-way, whatever you call it, battles. It's been some fantastic racing most of the part. As we do get a replay there, see where he brakes. Oh, he's completely missed it.
Good awareness.
And
Daryl Lim there.
Taps the tire wall, has extra precaution, but completely missed his braking point. That is the frustration kicking in. I guarantee you that he just wanted to get around that Porsche. It's like the straight is not long enough for my Lexus. That is good.
Very unfortunate. It's just checking in on Brenner Ellis, 25 seconds lead. Rob Underwood, only 2 seconds actually off the back of Jake Combs. Any mistake from Jake Combs is going to be that one. And Carl Johnson, I'm not too sure. I think if that 3.3 seconds is still relative to Craig Gallagher, he will at least keep in touch with Craig Gallagher, but I get the feeling that might... No, 3.8, yep, so it has updated, so he will benefit from Gallagher's 5-second mistake, and it looks like Cafield has actually built up that gap as well to Gallagher, so he will potentially retain P4 right now. I'm not too sure if there's maybe any impending decision from the stewards. We haven't really had any updates on any no far eyes. We do appreciate the stewards that come into the chat and let us know those ones. That's definitely very helpful for us in the comms booth. But Yeah, I get the feeling. I don't know if there's that incident is still under review for Slade and Johnson.
Where do you see that? What?
What? What?
Under review? What? Review?
Oh, I was just wondering if there's still a penalty to come, like between Johnson and Slade.
Possible. It's possible, perhaps.
Might have been no further action. Not too sure right now, but I mean, it'll be a good recovery for Slade to get up to P4, considering his early mistake. And obviously, he had to box early. Pete's really still trying to get a move done. Granted, the top 10 in this field is pretty damn good. And Jack Miller, despite his bad pit stop in P8, Darrell in P9 as well. Zach Warren, even with that 15-second penalty, holding down P7 right now. And it does look quite close up ahead for those guys. We're going to replay here now of the Porsche. I think this is Pete Viney and does find that bump. And no! Oh, it just glances up the barrier. That's not too... Considering it could have gone either way, that's not too bad considering.
Those green strips, I'm telling you, they're a trap. They're an absolute trap. Even in the dry, they're slippery. In the wet, just forget it. You touch it in the wet, you just spin. But even in the dry, it just seems super, super slippery. And we're on board with Jack Miller now. You know what? He's got him back on the tail of Zach Warren and Carl Johnson. So solid effort from Jack Miller as well, even after the pit stop that I want to say ruined this race, but he's back into that battle. The battle I was looking forward to this entire race. Carl Johnson versus Zach Warren versus Jack Miller, who comes out on top between these three as Miller goes very wide there. Don't go there. That is always a guaranteed track limit if you go that wide, unless you severely slow down as they go through the chicane. Been seeing Johnson hit Castro a bit bouncy for Warren, but nothing too dramatic as they go into the third sector of the Hungaroring. The Porsche and the McLaren should be pretty strong here compared to the Lexus, but the Lexus still holding his own. Now Zach Warren having to worry about a McLaren behind him now. He's got pretty big troubles of his own. Can he stay ahead as they get into the third last corner? Jack Miller showing his nose just to try and scare Warren into a mistake. Warren not falling for it. Warren's eyes are completely set on that Lexus as they go around the second last corner. See what they can do as they get back down the main straight, and Warren goes a bit wide, but just not quite wide enough to give a gap for Jack Miller to slip through. And now they go through the main straight. Now Warren will have the slipstream from the Lexus, so Jack Miller unfortunately not being able to catch up this time around. And there is only 45 seconds left of this race, so I'm wondering, it should be another lap, seeing where Mr. Ellis is here.
Yes, corner. No, so there's going to be another lap after this.
There's going to be another lap for this little battle pack happening. I really wonder how spicy this could be. It's always last lap. There's always last lap miracles that can end up happening as Breno manages the final corner with 20 seconds to go. There is going to be one more lap of this race, so this battle is not over just yet. There is still one more lap to go. Zach Warren catching onto the rear of that Lexus, closely followed by Jack Miller as they go through the chicane. The Porsche struggling a bit there, losing a bit of ground to the Lexus and losing ground to the McLaren as well, in fact. And he has to manage it one more time the next lap.
Carlos is trying to obviously defend, but he's also trying to stay in that 5-second gap to Gallagher, who's just up the road in the 84 Aston Martin. The gap right now is 4.1 seconds, so any substantial mistake or any kind of move that's happened is going to immediately open up that gap as they run around it for the last time through, so the second to last time through these last couple of hairpins right now. As Breno has already started his last lap and already halfway through the lap right now, but let's see how the runs. Carl just needs to get the clean run through this corner. We're going to replay here right now. This is Tarab Bank on the back of a Porsche. Sand setting up the inside, and the Porsche turns in. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, and the Porsche goes for a spin. That was very ambitious from Tarab Bank. I think the Porsche get a turn in quite early, but I'm not too sure I don't think that's going to fall too favorably on Bank, though, as Carlos goes a little wide, but the power gets down on the Astro, and still nothing able to be done into turn 2 right now. Gap still at 4 seconds, so he just needs to keep it close and not give these guys any bit of a move as they run now through turn 3, as they come onto their backtrack. Porsche really likes taking a lot of that curb, and I don't think it's actually helping whatsoever. There's a car up ahead on the outside of the track. It shouldn't distract him too much. Oh, it's Jack Miller all over the back right now as Breno Ellis does cross the line to win the first round of Season 25 here in Split Red at the Hungaroring for the BMW driver. Well done to him. There's quite a substantial gap back to Giacomin. We're still watching this battle right now. 4P6 to P8 with Carl Johnson, Warren and Miller. And we run through the final sequence of corners as the police siren goes off in the background of my place. Luca Giacomin does come across the line right now and finishes P2. A good race from him, and I think this is nothing able to be done on these guys. Just needs to keep it clean, just bring it home tight right now. And crossing the line, I think Cafield's about to cross the line into P4. Good recovery drive from him. As we look back, Zach Warren just got the McLaren just behind him, but I don't think anything can be done right now. Craig Gallagher will finish P5 potentially right now. Will it still be P5? What's the gap? It's 3 seconds, so he'll get displaced to potentially even all the way back to P7 to Craig Gallagher, as Carlos Johnson definitely going to inherit that P5 from him, and I think Zach Warren too, with only 3 tenths behind him, and Jack Miller potentially will gain a place from that penalty for the Aston Martin driver there too.
That was a fantastic bit of racing with these 3. Obviously, there's been a bit of contact here and there, but they did really well. Don't run into the BMW! As we have Tarab back. I expect Tarab back to get a pretty substantial penalty for that send on that fast left-hander. That just never works out. You can't go too wide there. It's just, I'm sure it's possible, but it's extremely ambitious, and it requires a lot of trust from the other driver, and it's just better to just make your pass somewhere else. So unfortunately, I expect a pretty substantial penalty, but that is race over for Split Red on race 1 for season 25 at the Hungaroring, and it will be Breno Ellis taking the fastest lap and the overall win, followed by Giacomin in P2, and Rob Underwood will close out our podium for the overall win. In silver class, in P1 is going to be Jack Miller, followed by Daryl Lim, and Pete Chalmers will close out the silver podium. Our Pro-Am drivers will be Pete Viney, David Neighbor. I did not even realize he was in this race, so good job on Dave Neighbor, and Sam will take P3 in the Pro-Am standings. And for our Am class, I know there's a couple mistakes here.
Gallagher's a silver.
Gallagher is a silver, so it will be Xavier Eden taking the win in the Am. I know Richo's a silver. I'm not sure who that other driver, how do I pronounce that? Day. I'm just gonna call him Day. We'll take what I assume is P2 in the Am Championship. Whew.
Split Red.
Split Red. It was a good start, though. You gotta admit, for Split Red, that was a
for Hungary. That wasn't too bad.
It was not too bad. That was a bit of naughtiness towards the mid to the end of the race, but anyways, this was Split Red Season 25, Race 1 at the Hungaroring. Now the drivers are going to pack the cars and ship them over to Belgium to race at Spa for Round 2. My name was Gobby, commentating with Cam Thistlethwaite, with the lovely Benjamin Hignett on the cameras. You've been watching OR.